new person, 2 new people, but one's at IMAX watching Dune right now, and the other I have not gotten to respond.
Are you interested in Dune?
I wouldn't mind watching it. I heard they're making a sequel.
Yeah, it did get greenlit, which was good because the first movie.
Yeah.
Well, it's a one-parter, so it doesn't have this satisfying conclusion because it's a one-parter. So anyway.
Yep, I figured I got a copyright claim on my video.
I told you would. This is the Halloween review?
Well, it's understandable. I used the music from 2018. Wonder how much I did get. Let's see. Actually, only 2. It's only because of the trailer. It's the trailer that gave it to me.
Who's the claimant?
I don't know. It's
mostly
from the 2021.
Like Universal? Is it
maybe.
Universal?
I think it's Universal.
Okay, so this is what will happen with Universal. You can dispute it. They're going to deny your dispute. This happens all the time with them. Okay, then you can appeal it, and then they will just let the 30 days go and expire, and then you'll be free and clear. That has been my track record with Universal since the beginning.
Okay.
So I know as soon as I file a dispute with them that it's going to get rejected, and then I'll just file an appeal, and then they just let it go. It's because I think it's in the system. The system automatically flags it. And I don't know if a human actually looks at it or if a human just goes through and is like, nope, deny, without even actually looking at it. And then they just don't pay any attention to the appeals. So.
Well,
okay.
We're another episode. So we had this kind of spur of the moment.
This was last minute. Yeah, I know.
But it's Halloween month. We're almost done with this month, so we might as well talk about horrors in this podcast episode. I'm bleeding on my finger. I did it to myself. Well, perfect timing. It is a blood month after all.
Blood.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get up in a sec, but we're basically gonna just talk about our favorite horror movies, and I might bring up some issues with the horror movie genre, and maybe also bring up a little bit on how certain things work better than others when it comes to either the gaming horror area or the film industry with that. But do you want to go first, Cyn?
Well,
I know what your favorite. We all know. Okay, if you follow
what my
Cyns
absolute
Corner,
favorite horror movie is, yes,
Halloween. The one
Halloween,
that scarred
1978.
her. Yeah, that scarred her when she was 10 years old.
It really did. I'm not joking. It really did. So there's that. That's my favorite. But then it's followed very closely by Halloween 2018. So that's when I did my top 10. I can't remember where it was on the list. Maybe 5.
Continue on. I gotta clean my fingers. It's got
blood.
Oh my
goodness.
Blood.
No, I'm not gonna talk to myself here.
Talk to everybody.
You're not gonna bleed out, Arturo.
All right, I'll listen. It's just I don't want to touch anything with a bloody finger. Okay.
Oh my goodness. I think I listed it as maybe Halloween was 5 on my top 10, and so then Halloween 2018 was 5.5. So it's like right there. It's attached to it. Because just like how the Terminator is attached to Terminator 2 for me. So Halloween, I decided I wasn't going to mention my absolute favorites because they're in my top 10. Halloween 2018. There's also The Lost Boys, which is considered a horror film, but I don't consider it a horror film. Yes, I have seen Pan's Labyrinth mentioned or listed in under horror films. So that one's kind of like a combination
fantasy.
of different. It's like fantasy, horror, but also character drama, some thriller, stuff like that. So that's a very good movie.
I have not
quite
seen
sad. It's sad, but the ending was appropriate, I'll just say. And you'll know what I mean when you see it. But yeah, that's a good film. It's been a good while since I've seen it too. It's in Spain Spanish, but it was done by Guillermo del Toro.
Was it all just a dream? Or did they
There's
not
been
indicate
debate about. There's been debate. Well, the fantasy stuff.
Like it's set in our real world, but
I guess you could say that it was real, or you could also take the perspective of she was creating this fantasy in her mind to deal with the stuff that she had to deal with in her life. Like it was an escape for her. So you could take it either way. You know, if you want to take it that it was literally happening or that she was just imagining it.
It kind of gave me a Silent Hill vibe because of one of the creatures in the back.
Labyrinth? Really?
Well, some of the creatures looked kind of like they could fit Silent Hill. Because especially the back of the picture with that weird white creature.
The one with the hands?
Maybe, yeah, that one. That one looked weird. Like, whoa.
He's creepy. He plays in.
Like I could see that in Silent Hill if they were to do that because
he was creepy. He was creepy.
It came out. But yeah.
When did it come out?
It came out in 2006. I remember it was around that time when 2006? I got introduced to the Silent Hill Origins trailer, which it's kind of mixing in my brain when it came to that horror stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I remember the trailers for it. I remember people being excited about it. I thought it won some awards, but I might be misremembering. To check it out.
But yeah, so Halloween scarred my Cyns Corner.
Yes, it did.
On top of that, I did convince her to play Dead by Daylight. So I'm
yes,
Michael Myers.
I've got a caveat. I've got a caveat to add to that.
I need to buy.
It requires a crap ton of hard drive space. 50
That's what
gigs.
I was asking. Did you?
Okay, yeah, but I've got enough RAM. I do have enough hard drive space. Only thing I'm not sure about is the video card. I do have an NVIDIA, but I don't know. So I won't know until I test it out. So it may not happen. In which case, don't buy yours until I test mine, because if I can't play it, then you can just log into my account. Well, I mean, you can just log into my account and download it instead of buying it. So, but I have to test it out.
But I would have to also. But there's other expansions I would like to buy from that, like Silent Hill.
Well, you can add those expansions, under my account if you want.
So anyways, we're getting off subject. So yeah,
we are.
Michael Myers, her favorite horror villain.
Yeah, he is. He's my favorite because he's freaking creepy. And that mask, and when you have the right person playing him, oh my goodness. The dude who's playing him now is so effective at being just creepy, and just the way he turns his head. He's really good. But what I was going to say is there's two other films on my list that are considered horror, Lost Boys and Underworld. But I don't consider those really horror.
Yeah.
They're horror because it's vampires and werewolves, but I don't consider them horror. So I wasn't even really going to talk much about those because to me, they're just more thriller type stuff. Hi, Chris. How you doing?
Yeah, that's the thing. So they consider Hellsing horror, but it never felt scary at all. And Tokyo Ghoul, I could say maybe horror, but it's got more character drama than anything. But it's got gore and stuff. So I don't know when there's a level between horror when it comes to gore. That's the thing.
I guess horror is. I mean, even if a film falls under horror, that doesn't mean everybody who watches it is going to perceive it as a horror film. But that's why I just wasn't going to talk about those. I was just going to talk about some that I really like. And
obviously Halloween, number one.
Well, that's a given. That's just a given.
This is number one.
But I was wondering.
Technically, I was going to say my favorite, my favorite obviously would be Halloween as well.
Right.
It's clever unless you get to the crazy parts of it, but the other movies that come out later, which
I still watch them and I enjoy watching them, even though I don't like them as much as H2O and 2018. I'll still watch them anyway. I know I refuse to watch Resurrection though. Refuse. That movie does not exist.
Hey, I mean, Corey did it.
Well, that's fine. That's Corey. He can do that. Yeah, we're talking horror flicks, like some of our favorites.
I was also going to bring up, like, if we had time, maybe bring up a bit of like some issues with the horror film, like the genre in general, and how it compares to like other mediums that may be a little better, like as of today, but mostly
you mean like compared to games, like movies. Well, yeah,
and anything else compared to that, you know. We could get to that later though, down the line, but yeah, we were mostly talking about Halloween. So I guess what would be your next favorite?
Well, Neon Genesis. Good day.
Wait. Neon Genesis
Neon Genesis Platinum.
Oh.
Is that, wait, what is Neon Genesis? Is that an anime?
Evangelion.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it had to do with
Evangelion.
Yeah, I thought it had to do with
that was the original show. Which some of that has.
How are things in Sydney? I hope you're doing well.
Oh, in Australia. Nice.
Yep, because it's tomorrow over there.
Oh, yeah.
So, did you want to go through some of yours? Well, I had posters. I was gonna.
I said Halloween would be one of them. Okay.
Right.
Except for the Scream would be another one because that's pretty clever. Like, I saw the first Scream, but I liked it enough to know how clever it was. Making fun of it. Yeah. It had references to like Nightmare on Elm Street and even Halloween. Because they were watching Halloween. They were watching
Halloween, like the horror genre.
Yeah.
You know, in general. Hi.
From England.
Sterling from England. My goodness. It's so cool how the different people pop in and tell me where they are. I would never expect that. Modern horror films, Seymour. Aside from the new Halloween movie. Well. The Invisible Man. Yeah. Except the latest Halloween movie, I don't think was as good as the latest Halloween movie.
Yeah. She did a review. I have a review that's going to be close to 40 minutes.
We did a collab
review. It's a spoiler review. So I would say whenever it goes up, I'm going to premiere it because it's 40 minutes. If you guys haven't seen the movie, I would suggest watching 2018 and Kills because it's okay. The review is a combination between 18 and Kills. It is best if you guys watch those before you watch our review for that because we couldn't help ourselves but go into details because there was a lot of good things with 2018, a lot of bad things with Kills.
I could rant about that thing for a long time. The Neon Genesis says the first 3 Hellraisers. I think I have seen. How many are there?
I have not seen that series at all.
I thought I had seen all that there were, but it's very possible I have not. And honestly, I can't remember a whole lot about them except for Pinhead. And I know that they're redoing it. They're rebooting it from what I understand. And they cast like some girl to play the part, or maybe I can't remember if she's transgender but anyway, then I found out that in the original story or short story, because I don't know if it was based on a novel or short story, that character was androgynous, but with feminine features. So this seems more in line with the way the character originally was. Anyway. Yeah, I saw it opening weekend as well, Chris. And it's weird because then I went to go see Dune. And I mentioned in my Dune review that Dune is a superior film, technically, acting-wise, story-wise, writing. It's better than Halloween Kills. And I enjoyed Dune, but I had more fun watching Halloween Kills. Like, I'd rather watch Halloween Kills again. Because I like that series despite what's wrong with it, I still.
Yeah. So I was talking about Scream. Yeah, like that's a
There's
clever
10
movie.
Holy cow. Dang, I didn't know that.
Scream is a pretty clever series. The fact that it knows what, like, it's making fun of itself in that regard. I do want to watch the others before the new one comes out.
Well,
So
the
I've
new
got
one's
like
coming out in
2,
just
3, 4,
a couple
and then
months.
yeah. But I would say Ghostface is kind of creepy, but it's more creepy when he's like stalking you on the phone. You know, that could be
that's
real.
creepy because you don't know where he is. Sterling, I'm not a huge fan of gory horror as well. I know that seems a little bit like counter to the fact that I love the Halloween movies, but
yeah, gory,
the Halloween movies that I like aren't filled with tons of gore.
Yeah, like let's say for example, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the very first one, that didn't have much blood and guts. All you need to do is see a visual of him like cutting someone with a chain. You didn't have to see the blood. It actually messes with your mind a lot.
It was terrifying just know what was happening without even knowing what was happening without even seeing it.
Yeah.
So
now technically you could say
Chris.
You could say the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was kind of a little funny because of the like the whole acting portion of it. A little
bit. And boy, you think that was funny. The second one is crazy. That one's just like so off the rails. It is stupid. Okay, so The Visit. I saw that movie a few years ago. That's the one where the grandparents come, right? That one was actually pretty good. That was a good film. I forgot about that one. Yeah, it was creepy. Those old people. Okay, so sorry. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
I also like Chucky.
Child's Play, yeah.
I saw the first one. That's all I've seen. That one was pretty clever too. A psycho doll.
Yeah, because he gets possessed by an evil spirit. Oh, did he do that?
Really?
Was that an M. Night Shyamalan film? No. Was it? Now I gotta check it out.
We gotta
investigate. I guess I just did not know that was... Don't fall, Papa. I didn't realize that was an M. Night Shyamalan. Sorry. Proceed, Arturo, while I research this. That's cool. Didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I like that movie. That one was good. That one was good. What else did I see? Cool. Oh, Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, and then the one where the actress plays herself.
A New Nightmare, right?
Okay, yeah.
I think that's what it was called.
Yeah, like that's also a clever movie because think about it, you need your sleep, but you can't sleep otherwise Freddy Krueger's going to kill you.
The premise, yeah.
Like that's horrifying. Like I remember when you told me, Sin, how you told me when I was 10, same age as when you freaked out over Halloween when you were 10.
But you didn't see it. It's because you heard the Will Smith song, right?
Yeah, the Will Smith song. You told me about it.
Yeah.
That night we were at the beach in 2006 and you told me about it. And that night I was actually very concerned. Whatever. You
didn't even see anything and you were scared.
You just telling me about it.
Oh my goodness. Sorry.
But no, that one's clever. But my mom, Sin, cannot get she's not afraid of Freddy Krueger.
Oh no. I mean, the concept is scary. That truly is scary, but Robert Englund, to me, he will always be that sweet little alien from V named Willie. He was just the sweetest little thing. And so when I knew it was him playing Freddy, I could sort of understand the horror, but I'm just like, oh, there's Willie from
But
V.
he's gone mad.
He's gone mad, yeah.
He's gone mad, but I also thought it was kind of a little funny too. Like whenever that one scene when he's on fire and he's just screaming, his voice is all, it sounds like a scratchy voice and all that, and he's just screaming. It's just kind of funny.
That's the first one?
Yeah, the first one. He's like, oh.
I don't remember. What was? What was that really creepy horror where those horny old women were preying on? Oh, okay. You know what? I have never watched that show. I have absolutely no interest at all. It looks so dumb. I'm just not. No, I don't care about that one. I was thinking to do a screen share of some of the posters that I downloaded so people could see what I was talking about. Yeah, the Autopsy of Jane Doe, I did see that. And it was done well, but I was just, it had, that typical ending that a lot of horror stories have. Someone mentioned in my comments a few days ago in reference to Michael Myers, and they were saying something like, well, I'm rooting for, I'm paraphrasing, I'm probably not remembering exactly, but basically that he was rooting for Michael. He wanted Michael to kill Laurie because usually the bad guy doesn't win. And in horror, that's really not the case. The bad guy most often ends up winning. Like the story will be over and you think the threat is gone, but no, it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
Or the protagonist is killed. So most of the time in formula, that the case, it ends up being the case that the bad guy wins, the good guys lose. And I'm not crazy about that formula because I like for the protagonist to have a happy ending.
Yeah, but
I continue to watch. I continue to watch.
But if you think about it, though, in reality, that's not always the case.
Slappy and the Stinkers. You just had to get that in again, didn't you?
Technically, I will bring this up. I know it's not a horror movie, but it feels like a horror movie to come and see. It's got that atmosphere, like like they kind of adapted Hollywood's horror look, grainy stuff like.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, you could view it as sort of because the atmosphere is, you're not really certain. Because you don't know whether or not the Germans are here, Germans are there, Germans are everywhere, and then at the near the end of that, you see what they do, which, let's be real, they would be considered horror icons because of what they did. And then at the end, it like I can kind of see that as a realistic ending because it's a little bit of a spoiler, but he the kid rejoins the partisans, and you don't know whether or not he's going to live or die. It just ends where he just rejoins the partisans to continue on the fight. But how would you know if he'll make it alive or not?
Yeah,
and after all the carnage he saw, I mean, that would mess him up. But like, if I were to say what a true horror ending should be, it would be something like that. Even though I guess you would say it's not really horror.
I wouldn't consider that a horror. I mean, the horrors that humans do, but to me,
well, like you could, you could take it like that. The horror of what humans do. That's kind of what the whole point was in that movie. Like the worst part of, or you could say the demonic side of humans.
Right.
Which,
yeah. Well, see, to me, that's why.
That would be horror.
That's why Michael Myers being a human scares me more.
Yeah.
Than if he was some supernatural entity. Like supernatural horror doesn't really scare me all that much.
But all it takes is one mentality to do that. And you know how the Nazis had that crazy mentality that only a specific group can live, the rest have to die.
Right.
That's basically what that whole movie was at the end.
Right, yeah. I wanted to touch on something that Sterling mentioned about When a Stranger Calls. I can't remember the name of the girl who plays in that, but I think they made 2 movies of that. And one day we were at Aunt Deanna's, and this particular movie came on, and someone was in the hospital. You could tell it was a horror movie. Someone was in the hospital, and this bad guy comes in there, and he goes into the room where this person is like unconscious or in a coma or whatever. And he punches this person. It's a girl. And he punches her repeatedly in the abdomen while she's like really hard, while she's in a coma or passed out. And that, I did not know what that movie was. Deanna did not like it at all. She wanted to, I don't like that. That's terrible. Well, yeah, it is terrible. It's a horror movie. So I think she changed the channel, and we never finished it. And for years, I had no idea what was that movie. That was such a creepy scene. And then I found out that it was the second When a Stranger Calls. I'm pretty sure that's the series that I'm thinking about. That was a very effectively disturbing scene, let me tell you. Rubber is my... Yeah, that's that film. I think it was you that mentioned it to me one time. It's so weird. I mean, I'm wondering how I could be creeped out or feel scared about a tire that kills people. But yeah, it's got high ratings, I think. Yeah, the first Scream is. I like all the Screams. I think they're pretty good.
Which I still need to see all of them, but
Jason Voorhees, no, me either. He's boring. I really am not a fan of Friday the 13th very much. I mean, the first one's okay, but...
Well, I heard from Corey that he said the even numbers are better. Like the second one's good, fourth one's good.
I think I've seen the second one. That's not bad. But he veers into that whole, you know, he's inhuman
Is he a
type
zombie
territory.
Or something.
Like they said like by the fourth movie he basically becomes unkillable. Well, I think well before then he probably was. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the next one. Yeah. No, I think oh, okay. I assumed he was talking about the earlier one. And who's the girl that plays in that movie? Jeez, I know her name if I hear it, but I don't remember it now. Oh, Black Christmas was a good horror. Was a pretty good horror film. Very creepy.
That was kind of technically the first slasher, sort of, but it came out the same year as Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I would say maybe Psycho. If you want to get real technical, maybe Psycho. But yeah, Black Christmas.
I'm trying to think of another. Okay,
pretty good.
The Conjuring's actually another favorite of mine. That's a good series. Like if you want a good modern horror movie series, while not technically scary, it's more of a jump scare. Conjuring is another one.
Yeah, The Conjuring is well done. It doesn't really scare me, but it's good.
But it's good.
It's enjoyable.
Like the plot's good.
Paul Walker and the truck driver who follows him. I don't think I've seen that movie, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't ring a bell.
Chris mentioned this, but The Thing is another one of mine that I also really like.
Carol Kane. That's right, her.
I would say The Thing's another good one as a horror movie.
Okay. Yeah, that is. I almost mentioned that. I almost pulled that up, but I was thinking of others. Okay, so you're not referring to the original ones. Oh, all right. I think I've seen the 2006 version as well. The Thing and The Shining.
Now, The Shining I wasn't really a fan of, but The Thing I do like.
It's okay. I mean, I don't hate it, but it's not something that I would typically pick out. But The Shining is disturbing. The Shining.
Yeah.
It's disturbing because it's this slow burn. You see this guy just slowly sort of...
Yeah, but The Thing I like a lot. That one's really good.
Rest Stop. Oh. I'm trying to remember if I've seen that. I don't think I've seen that. But that sounds really familiar.
Would you consider also...
Are you sure that was Paul Walker? Hold on. Yeah, I have the Happy Death Day listed.
Well, yeah, would you consider that a horror? Because it never felt scary. It was kind of comedic, mixed with horror, slasher, mixed with other romance stuff.
I think it's considered...
a mixture of everything, kind of.
You know what? Rest Stop is not mentioned as a Paul Walker film. So I don't know if that's what that is. Joyride. Okay, so Joyride, I forgot it had Paul Walker in it because I watched it because it had oh gosh, what's his name? Wait. I got to look this up because I thought there was somebody starring. Oh no, okay, I'm completely misremembering. That's a totally different movie. I've seen Joyride. I saw it a long time ago. Wow, I had completely forgotten about that movie. Monster in the Closet. Have never heard. You know what? one of the main reasons that I was looking forward to this discussion is to find out about some horror movies that I hadn't heard of or haven't seen. So I'm going to start. Okay, I'm going to start writing some of this stuff down, you guys. Hold on. Because I don't think I've seen Monster. But honestly, I've seen so many things that a lot of times I don't think I've seen it, but I really have. I just don't remember. Yeah, that's right. It is Joyride. I watched The Shining in a recently renovated old movie. Well, I bet it did. I bet it was creepy. I probably would have been a little bit creeped out. I recently watched a movie called The Empty Man. And I was working night shifts at this clinic, this medical research study clinic. I was just there just to be there in case the research patients needed any help. And I had seen Malignant. And then like the next night I watched The Empty Man. And I actually got a little creeped out when I started hearing the building was making noises. And I got a little creeped out because I was watching The Empty Man. Even though it's creepy, but it's not the scariest thing I've ever seen. It was well done. I just wasn't crazy about the ending.
Now, to be honest,
atmospheric.
I am going to mention this. It's not on my favorite list because I have not watched this series, but I am interested to watch Candyman.
Yeah.
At least, you know,
the first one.
The first one, but also even the other two, just the 90s ones.
I've had the other two playing. I just never paid attention to the other two. Oh, hello,
my
Aurelia.
manager, my manager, she was saying how she likes the third one, but she obviously says the first one's better.
Yes, I feel like I'd like to rewatch 2 and 3.
Yeah, but
hi, Colin.
I would really like to watch it.
Sorry you couldn't join us. That's okay.
You could always hop on now. Do it now. Come on.
He says he's working, so
just call in sick.
He can. He works from home. I believe he does. The Babadook. We saw that a few years ago at Deanna's. I don't remember if you watched
Hush
it with
was a
us.
good one.
Actually, Hush is in my list that I was going to talk about.
Yeah, I was just going to say
the music, the cinematography, all add to the tension of the overlook in The Shining. Yes, it does. It's very creepy. Monster in the Closet. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to check that out. Nothing at all like the book, but it's great. Yeah, and I heard Stephen King was not happy with that at all.
So
with Kubrick's version.
Sylvia, I watched The Ring in the cinema, and that was creepy, but it wasn't as creepy on DVD. The cinema experience really made. Yeah, and you know what? I heard The Ring is based on a Japanese horror movie.
Yes, it is.
Which reminds me, I would like to watch some Japanese horror movies.
Also, The Grudge is based on Japanese horror.
Yeah, The Grudge.
And I've seen both of those.
The Fatal Frame, I think, also got inspiration from some of those.
His name is Sterling Silva.
Silva,
not Sylvia.
Goodness, blame my dyslexia. Okay, my dyslexia.
I know.
It's
you just need to walk around with a disclaimer. If I say anything that's a little bit
don't
off,
blame me. Blame my dyslexia. It's my dyslexia's fault. Shame on dyslexia.
What? Oh gosh. Okay. I'm writing down these crazy ones. Okay. King was on set complaining, and Kubrick kicked him off. Oh, okay. Well, I wonder if King has changed his opinion about The Shining, since it seems to have stood the test of time, because a lot of people rank that movie very high on the list of horror films because of how well done it is. he says, "Don't worry." Psycho is Psycho's very well done. Very effective creepiness, and just being scared, not knowing what the heck is going on without showing too much.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I remember that movie scared me.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
The one from the 70s?
Well, but
With
then there
Donald
was the
Sutherland?
50s too. Technically, that would be considered the
Mm.
first horror movie because that came out in like what 56, or The Thing was
No,
56.
you know what, Arturo? They had like Dracula and Frankenstein and the
Okay,
Wolfman.
fair point.
They had Nosferatu. So
Well, that is Dracula.
horror movies have been around for a while.
Okay, fair
Oh,
point.
sorry, I just popped that up. I wonder if should I share screen to talk about some of these ones?
You can. I'm trying to remember
Hold
what else was
on.
my next favorite horror movie.
I don't want to share a video file, and I don't want to share. I don't think I'm going to do a good job of this. Do you know how to share screen, Arturo?
I do.
And
you just go to share screen.
I know, but if I think I won't be able to see. Oh, select a window or screen.
Yeah.
Crap.
Trying to see.
I just want to show. Shoot. Well, there it is.
Wait, Split is considered horror.
Yeah. I think.
Okay, well that one was good. I like that one.
Okay, so I'm going to. Oh, geez, is that maximized? Can you see it maximized?
I mean, I can see it. I can see it.
Okay, I can't see you guys at all. But does that take up the whole screen?
I only see a folder open.
Really? You don't see the picture? Dang it.
No.
Crap. That's not going to work. Well, forget it. Forget it.
Okay, World War Z was also good. I like that one.
Yes, it was. It was. Okay.
Overlord was okay. I mean, it basically
Is this what people are talking? Is this what people are talking about?
Wait, what?
What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you looking at the people's comments?
No, I was going through a list.
Have you seen? Speaking of Psycho, have you seen the remake? That's virtually a shot-for-shot redo of the original. I mean, why? It's not awful, but I just don't get the point. If you wanted to show the same movie except maybe in color, then why didn't they just color the black and white one? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know if that's considered horror. I never really considered that horror. I don't think I've seen that movie all the way through. So honestly, I couldn't tell you. I haven't seen that one show up.
Oh,
in the list of
like
horror
Lights
films.
Out. That one was pretty decent.
Yeah, that was really good. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, was that the first one? I bet he's referencing the very first horror movie that was made. Oh yeah, that he's referring to Clockwork Orange. Kubrick, yeah, he did. Disturbing, but not, yeah. That's kind of how I feel about it as well. Don't watch Teeth. You know what? I saw either all or part of that. That movie's weird. It was disturbing. I was able to appreciate the storyline and philosophical themes behind it. Oh, okay, you're referring to Clockwork Orange again. Yeah, the one with Vince Vaughn. And Anne Hesh. I think she was the victim in the bathtub. I can't remember who played her sister. I'm bummed I can't share a picture, Arturo. That's aggravating. But what I was going to do was try to share posters. So the first movie I was going to bring up was Bad Moon. Have you seen that one yet?
Bad Moon. I don't think I've seen that one. I don't think I've seen that one.
Do you know what I'm... Okay. So that one was based on a book called Thor. And it's a story told from the dog's perspective.
Oh, wait. About the werewolf.
The werewolf.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay. So that's not the best... That's not the most well done, just not the most technically wonderful horror movie. Doesn't have the best acting, but the book is told from the perspective of the dog. It's a little different from the movie, but basically the premise is, for people who don't know, I've mentioned this before, this woman's brother is a werewolf, and he comes to visit her, and the dog can sense that something is wrong with this guy. And some of the stuff that I felt was kind of funny, with little things like that he would do stuff like pee outside, like marking his territory, and the dog knew that that's what he was doing, and it would just like drive him nuts. He could not stand it because dogs are all about marking their territory. It was just, I thought it was really good. It was not very long. It's maybe only like, I don't know, 80 minutes long. I wish it had been longer, but it was fun.
Fright Night was also another one that's pretty good.
Yes, Fright Night. Are you going down a list of horror movies?
Well, I do have like a bunch of like things showing up right now on Google, but I just remembered it. Fright Night was one of those horror movies. I wasn't crazy about Sinister though.
I don't even remember much about Sinister.
I know how it all goes. I'm not crazy about that movie.
Gremlins,
I guess would be considered horror, but
in answer to your question, I would personally class it as horror.
Gremlins?
The Resident Evils. No, the Resident Evils.
Oh, the movies, yeah, they are.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean, it's just basically the exact same movie except with different actors. Bad Moon is on my Amazon watch list this week. It's the werewolf, not the best job, it's a low-ish budget film, but there's just something about it that I really have always liked, and I don't know if it's the dog. That dog is gorgeous. I love German Shepherds. Or it was just the whole premise. I found it fascinating. And I've always I have a soft spot in my heart for that film. I always will. That sounds familiar to me, but I don't think I ever finished it. I think it's been playing before on my TV, but I never finished watching it. I have seen the Psycho remake twice. You hated it the first time. The second time you viewed it as an interesting curiosity piece that works only for hardcore fans of the original to see an alternate take. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been recommended to. Oh, Bad Moon? Oh, cool. Well, I hope you like it. You might watch it and be like, this is the dumbest film. But
would you say
I enjoyed it.
That 99 movie about the ghosts would be considered horror. With
Stir of Echoes?
Yeah.
The one you watched with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, I think that's considered a horror, I believe. I mean, I would consider it a horror.
That one's pretty decent.
Oh, yes. It's it's good you mentioned this, because I'm going to tell you, Silver Bullet was on my list. That was the next thing I was getting ready to touch on. I was also going to mention
that one at some point.
I love that movie. It's just something about, it's just the perfect atmosphere for this horror movie.
It's also very 80s.
Very 80s. And Gary Busey is perfect. I mean, I like Gary. He's unhinged and crazy, but I like him. I have always liked him. But it's
the guy that always says, Amazon Fire TV stick. That
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the way he would say it, I never forgot. I think they don't do that anymore with the Amazon thing, but I just remember the way he would sound with his voice. Amazon Fire TV stick.
Yeah. He's the one that worked on that movie with Uncle Matt.
Oh,
Gary
nice.
Busey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in World's Dumbest Criminals, I think.
The premise also, it's terrifying because the kid, just like how we were watching The Bone Collector the other day.
Yeah,
And what happens at the end is terrifying because he's helpless. Just like in Silver Bullet, that kid is helpless. He can't walk. He's very limited as to what he can do to protect himself. And that scene on the bridge, when I first saw it, scared me to death. I was so scared, for him, because he couldn't run away anywhere. And then when you find out who the werewolf is, that's even scarier because it's just like, oh, that's terrible. Anyway, yeah, I love that movie. I watch it probably at least once a year. It's great. It's so much. It's just I don't know. My brother Tim hates it. He thinks it's stupid. He thinks the werewolf is dumb or something, like the whole thing with the werewolf beating somebody with a bat but I disagree with him on that.
Who, Matt?
I remember liking Timothy.
Oh,
yeah, Timothy.
Well, see, like that's the thing. Sometimes I have to.
It is creepy.
Sometimes I have to disagree with Tim on some things. Like I get some of his points, but there are other points I'm like, no, I think
you should have seen some of the stuff he was texting me when he was watching Halloween Kills.
Well, I mean, we're gonna all agree on that. Like it had issues.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Jaws was really good. Actually, when I first saw Jaws, so I was really young when I first saw portions of Jaws, and it really, really scared me because, I grew up without a TV. So anytime I saw anything, I took it very literally. There was a part of me that, I was petrified of the Incredible Hulk, even though I knew he wasn't bad, but the transformation scared me. And Halloween, right? And Poltergeist, there was a scene in Poltergeist that really freaked me out. And Jaws scared me so bad when I first saw it. I had this fear. We were sleeping at my aunt's house, my dad and I, sleeping at Aunt Sylvia's house, and her living room carpet, this is where we slept, like on the couch in the living room, on the couches in the living room, her living room carpet was blue. So in my mind, it was the ocean. And Jaws was going to come up out of that living room carpet and was going to get me. And he was going to get me when I sat on the toilet.
Same for Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Jurassic Park.
Dinosaurs that would just open the door.
Well, Chris, when you get around to rewatching it, let me know what you think. For me, it holds up. I'm very fond of that film. In fact, maybe I'll take over the TV from your dad tonight and watch it again.
Hi, Ricardo. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hi, Ricardo. ¿Cómo estás? Espero que estás bien.
Estás.
Utah, get me too. Is that a reference to Silver Bullet? I don't remember. Someone remixed Busey's "Piss on the Yankees" chant from that film into a mess. That's funny. That's funny. Yes, he did have a lot of fireworks, and that's what saved his poor little butt on the bridge. Jaws is one of the only movies that actually scares me. It's scary thinking about being in that sort of situation. Yeah, I'm not crazy about swimming in the ocean anymore.
I would really like if they could make a movie about this. But I heard there's like this thing that happened.
What?
Well, I was saying there's this thing that happened in the late 40s. The Soviets were experimenting on like sleeping or something.
Okay.
But the patients started to go a little like
crazy.
Nutsoid, like I'm thinking to myself, that would be probably the perfect horror movie to adapt.
That story?
Yeah, like because
of the experiments?
You could, to be honest, okay, so the Conjuring, they're based on true cases. Obviously, it's cinemized.
Right. Well, true.
But it's creepy enough, though, when they adapt a real life case or a real life event and just turn it into something kind of scary. I guess you could
Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on
Psycho was based on it too.
Yeah,
Psycho
killers,
and Texas, which is based on a real thing. Yeah, that's creepy. And would you say From Hell would be considered horror?
I think so.
That one's pretty good.
It is good. I like that movie.
Jack the Ripper was a real guy.
Was horrifying. And one of the few times I got really, really creeped out watching a documentary. I was watching a documentary of Jack the Ripper, and this is when your sister was a baby, but they showed a very graphic picture of the last victim. And for the first time, I could see it really clearly, because before, you just see it in books and the picture's small.
Black and white, and it's not that clear.
Yeah, but they had it filled the screen, and it was horrifying, and I got really creeped out about Jack the Ripper coming up the steps. But anyway, Yeah, The Bone Collector is good. I have been listening to the books. I'm way behind on them, but they were interesting to listen to as well. Man on Fire is a good film. Jaws scared me as a kid. You saw Jaws 3 first? That's the worst one. I don't blame you for not wanting to go to SeaWorld after that, though. Hadn't seen Jaws until a few years ago. Still can't believe that was animatronic, and they had a heck of a time with that.
I'm telling you, like
shark.
at that point, Steven Spielberg was just rolling in it.
Yeah, Man on Fire. It's a good movie.
Heck, even Steven Spielberg can make
horror
movies like Poltergeist, which, to be honest, I only saw bits and pieces of that movie. I've never really fully sat down.
I thought you watched.
I came in at points and watched some of it with you guys. Left, then came and saw like the last portion of it.
That was one you didn't watch the whole thing. Okay.
No, I think
so. The scene that creeped me out was when the guy was
peeling his face off. Yeah,
hallucinating that he was peeling his face. Oh, that scared me when I first saw that. Really,
but goodness, Steven Spielberg. Like, see, Steven Spielberg could even adapt something and turn it into a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he could do anything.
The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre disturbed me a lot when I first saw it.
Well, I mean, it is a disturbing movie.
It's so brutal, and they didn't have to show you much for you to be scared.
Realize, like that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to show much.
Another film that frightened me was the original Night of the Living Dead. When I first saw that, I want to say we saw it. We rented it from the library. That was one of the ones we put on a projector and flashed the picture up on the wall. And that one freaked me the heck out because I think the scene that bothered me the most, that really disturbed me, was the scene where the little girl is killing her mother with a spade or something like that.
Ooh.
That really got to me. I could hardly sleep that night.
Messes with
the
your
Conjuring
brain.
films are, they are excessively dramatic. Especially the third one was pretty dramatic, but they're fun.
I haven't even seen that one. I do want to watch that one.
You haven't seen Jaws?
Oh,
you need to. You need to watch it. You should watch it. It's good. Yeah, it's good. Shutter Island was like a psychological horror. Yeah. I have sort of seen that in passing multiple times. It's okay. It's got the type of ending that doesn't always sit well with me. I guess it depends on the film.
Actually,
I think that was adapted from a book.
To be honest, the first Terminator could be considered a horror. The first Terminator, which would be another.
Yeah, you said it felt more like a horror
because it's humans against a machine.
Is that the episode of the inbreds and their mother, who was like, they stored up under a bed or something, and she didn't have any legs or something like that? I might be completely misremembering. Because of the reveal. Well, I don't want to give too much away in case Arturo ever ends up watching it, but the reveal. That one just like, those kind of get on my nerves. But sometimes they work just fine, and I don't know. Maybe it was just the mood I was in. But yes, Alien is.
Yeah, that one's good. Really. I like that one.
That's a good movie. Really good movie. Okay, good. Then let me know what you thought about it. whenever you want. Oh, hold on, Arturo. What? Home Terrified. Yeah, the hill. Okay, that is the one. That was disturbing. That was a really disturbing episode.
Yeah, Aliens is more action, which I would agree because Terminator 2 became more action-y, not really horror by that point.
2 horrors I highly recommend are 2 low-budget, underrated pictures. Carver. Where the heck? Oh, you took my pen. Little Popo took my pen.
What? Popo took her?
I think she did, or maybe it just fell down beside her. Okay, I'm going to write this down. Carver. 2008. And Hanger. 2009.
Let's see. What other horror movie have I seen?
Yeah, I mean, maybe if I rewatched it, Colin, it wouldn't bother me as much. But I kind of always associate that. Like, I associate that ending with it when I think about it, and I'm just going, eh. It's kind of like, yeah, and I don't want to say, like, I know whatever I say will be too much of a clue for Arturo to know.
I have not watched the Crazies, but would you consider that part of your favorites?
Yes. You haven't seen the Crazies?
I only saw what you watched back when we were at the beach, like about 11 years ago.
I thought you saw that movie.
Bits of it. Maybe I did see most of it.
Thing.
Maybe most of it, but not all of it.
That's a good film. That's a remake.
A remake of, yeah.
Pumpkinhead. Yeah, Pumpkinhead. That was actually kind of sad too. The whole premise for that. Return of the Living Dead. When you were 12 and thought it was realish. I recently met Alan Troutman, the main zombie. Oh, I bet that was cool.
Oh wow.
What about Beauty and the Beast? Right. But he wasn't really a beast. He was a human underneath.
Yeah.
Hi, Simon. You sure you don't want to join us and share some of your? Well, I don't know.
You said you had in here without some people.
You said you had plans. Jeepers Creepers. I actually like the Jeepers Creepers films, and yes, it's got, I believe, 2 sequels. I liked all of those. It's, formulaic type of thing, but I liked it. Just got Alien Isolation for Switch. It's supposed to be a great horror game based on the original. Oh.
Yeah, I think you have no weapon. It's first person, and you have to hide from the alien.
That's what I would be doing.
Like it would kind of like linger in a specific room, and then you have to hide. But if it finds you, you're dead. See, like that's kind of the same with a game called Haunting Ground, where you have no weapon except for a German Shepherd, and you have to run.
Oh yeah. I thought Disney had made a horror movie, but I'm probably wrong. I'm probably confusing it. No. There was a movie, a horror movie with Lucas Haas when he was a kid. I think it came out in the 80s. And he was seeing the ghost of this little girl. And he was seeing her murder, but he couldn't see the killer. And I can't remember the name of that.
That came out, what, in 82?
No, I thought it was after 82. I for some reason I thought that was a Disney film, but I don't think it is. I thought Watcher in the Woods was a Disney film, but I might be wrong. Yes, we did. Did you watch The Witch with us?
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about it. I think the only good thing I liked about it was the acting, and also the fact that they actually made those clothes. They made them handmade to kind of fit in that period, which was good, but it's not
it had that type of ending that I wasn't crazy about. It's one of those A24s.
I need to still do a review for it just to say what
it was very atmospheric and creepy.
It was creepy, and it was more disturbing whenever the witch took the baby. That was disturbing. I mean, you know what she did. Her first movie. Yeah. She's a pretty good actress.
She is. I'm going to go see, as I told you, Last Night in Soho on Friday. Yeah. I'm actually looking forward to that.
She actually sang the song.
Oh yeah, I think I saw something about that.
So she's both a singer. It'd be
cool to see her in a movie where she's speaking her native language. That would be awesome.
Really?
I would like. Yeah.
What, England? Wait, isn't she from England?
She's Latina.
Oh, she's Latina?
Yeah. English was her second language. Well, she has like a mixture of a British and American accent. I don't remember where she grew up, but I think she spent some time in Argentina.
She's my age.
Yeah.
So
she's grown on me for sure.
Yeah, like she's kicking it, and I'm still behind. I'm just twiddling my fingers for the day.
I never watched the first Strangers because I found out how it ended, and then I just lost interest. But I heard that it seems pretty terrifying. There's a YouTube video of audience members running out of The Exorcist, shaking and fainting. The Exorcist, some people consider that film like one of the scariest horror films ever, and honestly, it didn't really scare me all that much. I remember when I first saw it, the main thing that bothered me about it, hey, Chibi, the main thing that bothered me about The Exorcist was just the aspect of having a child that has something wrong, like let's say a chronic illness, and the constant worry that you feel as a parent. That was, to me, the most disturbing part of The Exorcist. Just understanding how, and I wasn't even a parent at the time, but just understanding what the mother was going through.
That movie wasn't my favorite either. Like, it was okay.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm not super into it. Yeah, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer. That's the one with Michael Rooker in it, I think. That's not too bad. I like that. Didn't Disney make Mr. Bugatti? I don't know. I've never heard of that. Has anyone brought up the Blob 88 yet? No, they haven't. And I did see that a few years ago, and I thought it was pretty fun. I mean, I like the original too, but I thought the Blob was pretty fun. The 88 one. The Strangers, yeah, I know. I've seen enough. Okay. Thanks for stopping by, Sterling. Have a good one. I love the goat at the end of The Witch. The Witch was creepy, but I was just aggravated at how it, it's just most horror movies, they just end so badly, I think, like for the protagonist and stuff. But I don't know why I'm still drawn to it. We're watching Dexter right now. Will you be making any videos about the new season? Probably. I have done some reactions to the trailers. I don't know if I'll react to the new episodes or if I'll just do a review of it. And I'm also looking forward to The Witcher. That's going to be fun. The ending of Jeepers Creepers was freaky as you hear the guy screaming in the basement. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that. Yeah. Anya Taylor-Joy speaks Spanish. Como yo. Yeah. Estoy tratando de mejorar mi español, pero necesito practicar más. Okay. Yeah, The Exorcist. Right. The only movies that have truly scared me are White Noise. That's the one with, oh gosh, Michael Keaton, I think. Arturo! You butt. I never even suspected you were going to go do that. Event Horizon. I saw that for the first. I'm just going to not look at you. I'm not going to look at Michael over there. I'm just going to talk to you guys in the comments. Event Horizon, saw that for the first time last year. I did a reaction to it. And that was very atmospheric. It was creepy. If I remember correctly, the Jeepers Creepers sequel was a lot more of a generic horror movie than the first one. I heard a lot of people didn't like the third one. I thought it was okay. The Conjuring is the scariest movie I've ever seen, and the original Saw changed the way I think about life. I never forgot the original Saw. I was so bummed at how it ended. And I remembered being really shocked when, oh gosh, what's that guy's name? Oh my goodness, Danny Glover. When what happens to his character, and I was walking on a treadmill at the time, and I almost walked right off the treadmill. It startled me so much. I had to grab hold of the handles. No, not really. Porque muchas veces olvido las palabras correctas, las reglas como subjuntivo en las conjugaciones. Y entonces no hablo muy bien. Says you need that man. Stop it, Arturo. Take the dang thing off. Silence of the Lambs. I remember when I first saw Silence of the Lambs, it really freaked me out, that scene, that final scene, when he's got the night vision goggles on and she can't see him and he's right there. That was really creepy. For sure. Annihilation. I have seen it. I did think it was pretentious AF. I also, because it's got Natalie Portman in it, and she just kind of sullies a lot of movies for me. There's a scene with a bear that was that was pretty disturbing. Yeah, I just wasn't I don't know. I just wasn't super crazy about that film. But I know a lot of people like it, and it's very highly rated. Carver 2008 starts slow, but then it really kicks off. Also recommend Devils. Oh wow, there's a lot here. I've seen Midnight Meat Train. That's got Bradley Cooper in it. Devil's Bridge. Stop. I'm writing these down. Stay Alive. I may have seen that one. F. Stagnite. Cradle of Fear. Wow, I've seen Dog Soldiers. That's such a good movie. I love that movie. How can I forget about that? Have you seen Dog Soldiers? Arturo? I'm not talking to Michael. Cradle of Fear. Yeah, Dog Soldiers is excellent. That's one of the best werewolf movies I think I've seen. Wilderness and Resurrection. Okay. I have seen The Collector. That's the first one, right? Is that the one where you see the guy who's tying the ties of his mask? I've seen that, but it's been so long. I remember not being super thrilled with it. I don't remember if I've seen The Collection. Annihilation. Yeah, a lot of people like it. Oh, whoa. Yeah, I need to get rid of that thing. I need to just like steal it from him. He has come in on me so many times and scared me with that thing. I'm still interested in seeing the Victor Salva movie Clown House. I think knowing what he was doing behind the scenes would make it that much more creepy. I don't think I've heard of. Writing down all these films. Do you consider the Purge series horror or cringe comedy? Well, it depends on. I think it's kind of horror related. I felt like the first one was definitely horror related, and then the other films, I'm totally ignoring you. Then the other films felt more like sort of like thriller suspense. The Purge is a series Arturo really likes. See, now he's just being funny. All right, Ready or Not. Yeah, that's a good movie, and I almost you're distracting me. Stop. What was I getting ready to say? Yes, I almost mentioned that, but the reason I kind of veered away from it is because it did come across more. I'm gonna put this thing right up so I can't see his face. It did come across more as a dark comedy than horror, but that was a fun movie. Oh, sorry. I recommend also the novel, but it's not a horror novel like the film. Oh, really? I guess I forgot it was based on a novel if I knew that before. Yeah, I know, right? He bought that from one of his cousins, and he's been making good use of it ever since. He walked in on me today while I was in a meeting. I was in a business meeting. No, it was okay because the people I work with, they're super chill. He walks in on me dressed in the coveralls and having this, this plastic knife with fake blood in it and wearing that dang Michael Myers mask.
He's gone now.
Thank goodness. He's cosplayed as Michael Myers several times. I liked.
But yeah, glad that we had Michael Myers on board for this. This was fun.
No.
Hopefully he can come again next year.
I don't think I've seen Ghoulies, to be honest. I remember that I enjoyed the first Critters, but that was back in the day. Wait, what did he say? Arturo giving his... Hold on, I missed something.
What are you talking about? That was Michael Myers.
Critters is far superior, although that's not saying much. Never seen any of the Purge movies. So I think my favorite Purge movie was the second one. That's the one with Frank Grillo in it, right?
I was going to bring up The Purge. The Purge is more like a political horror movie.
Well, yeah, but what the people are doing to each other,
Oh
that's
yeah, that
not
would be
really
considered horror. Yeah. It's got that guy from Captain America,
Puppet
Winter
Master.
Soldier.
Yeah, Frank Grillo.
Yeah.
Puppet Master. Yeah, okay. You jumped to do that. Sweatshop, Exam, Panic Button are also very good. Do you like world cinema horror? If so, I have a ton in my collection I can suggest. What is world cinema horror? Do you mean like that's going over my head? Do you mean like from other like from outside the US? Yeah, I like horror. It doesn't matter. I've seen some really good horror from like Korea.
Oh
The
yeah, I
Host
would like to watch those.
was really good. I started watching this one. I can't remember the name of it. This guy, he's like a priest, but he becomes a vampire or something like that. I never finished it, but it was what I saw up till then was good. Let me write down these. Exam. Panic Button. I'm getting so many more titles than I expected to. Oops. Not to be political, but An Inconvenient Truth may be the scariest movie I've ever seen. Oh yeah, that's Al Gore's documentary. Frankenstein. You know, I've never watched that. I've also never read the book. Oh, sorry, Arturo.
I actually did a review for.
Sorry.
Stop it!
I was putting it back.
I did do
Yeah,
a review for the second Purge movie. I did give it a higher rating than the first one.
The first one, I liked the premise, but it just felt so choppy. To me, it just felt sloppily edited. And so that's why I was like, well, maybe if it had been technically better, I would have liked it more. But then when the second one came along, it was done so much better, in my opinion. And I just liked the storyline more.
I never bothered to watch
what was the horror film where people are put into a house and it has gears that turn and it kills people?
Sounds like Saw to me, or Spiral.
That's not one of the. That's not the film with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Liam Neeson, is it? I don't know. I don't know if that's it. Oh! Wait a second. How did you get to see it? You know, I almost invited you to come on this with us, but I figured it'd be a little bit too last minute to ask you. But how did you get to watch it? Do you have like Wednesday night previews or something where you are? You got to tell me. I'm going to go see it on Friday. Are you going to get your review up before Friday? I would like to watch your review, if so, or are you even going to do a review? And I hope it's good. It looks good. I'm super jealous that you were able to see it. Super jealous. But speaking of screeners, I'm going to watch some sort of movie tomorrow, an advanced screening that I can't say what it is.
I do want to see that. You know what?
NDA,
I need to see Venom.
I would go see Last Night in Soho tomorrow if it weren't for that. How much longer is it going to be in your theater?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's kind of scattling out a little bit. I'm so behind on seeing that.
Oh, okay. World cinema is a term we use in England. It's French, Italian, Spanish, Japanese form. Oh, okay. You know what? Yes. You can email me. Let me see if YouTube will let me put my email. They won't let me put my email in the comments section of my videos, so I don't know if they're going to edit this out, but you can find my email in the description of my videos, and also you could go to my about page or something on YouTube, and you can message me, send me a list of stuff. But there it is, if you guys can see it. Walk on Always Believe, if you can see it, unless they remove it. I loved Clive Barker's Nightbreed growing up. Decker, played by David Cronenberg, is an iconic horror villain. Truthfully, the movie isn't spectacular. Yeah, it is full of 80s cheese. It's been playing off and on, like on Pluto TV or Comet TV. concept is great. Ah, that's a movie that I was going to mention. You're next. I was going to bring that up. I actually really like that film. That's the one where the girl is like she's with her boyfriend maybe or something, and they go visit his family, and there are these killings that start happening. That was a really good film.
Where they get married or something?
No, you're thinking Ready or Not. That was good, but I think they wore these like animal masks. You've probably seen the poster. That was a good film. I think you'd like that.
Yeah, to be honest, the only favorite ones I mentioned are the ones like mostly they're the classic ones. Then obviously there's Conjuring, which is the newer one, and then Lights Out.
There's so many you haven't seen, Arturo. So many. The Descent, I've never watched that all the way through.
Like that's what I'm trying to figure out if there was anything else.
Oh, 13 Ghosts. I think that thing has been playing before on my TV. I'm just going to list really quickly the other films that I was going to talk about. So we talked about Hush. I liked Hush.
Yeah, I talked about that. That was good.
That's just terrifying because she can't hear. Kind of like just a similar sort of fear you have, like what you did for the little kid in Silver Bullet. I also like the movie No Vacancy with Kate Beckinsale and Luke Wilson. They stop at this hotel and it's run by a bunch of crazy people. That was pretty fun. Another film I actually like, it's Prom Night with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Is that the one where the girl that played in Underworld?
Yes.
That one. I've heard about that.
And I never forgot. Teresa was watching that with me one time. And there's this scene where she's crawling through this tunnel area to try to get away. And it has these lights strung up along the way. And she's just crawling to get away. And Teresa was like, I would be like smashing all the lights out as I went. And that makes complete sense. Like, why wasn't she smashing the lights out so that they couldn't see her? I mean, whoever was chasing her had a clear view of her trying to get away. So yeah, Prom Night. That's a Jamie Lee Curtis film.
Okay, I would have liked to seen that one. I know the twist.
It's not bad. Oh, you do. That's right. You saw the twist. So then that kind of takes away. And also we talked about Silver Bullet. The other one I was going to mention was Train to Busan.
Oh, the Korean.
That's a really, really good film. Don't watch my reaction to it until you watch the movie for yourself.
I do want to see that. There's also Audition, which is like a Japanese horror movie that I'm sort of interested in, but I also heard it's disturbing.
What's it called?
Audition. The Japanese horror
movie.
Oh,
Audition. Yes, that is disturbing. Oh. Joe Bob Briggs played that. Better still join the Discord. Oh, yes, that's right. I keep forgetting to, I put little things up on my videos about the Discord, but I forget to physically talk about it in my videos.
I put it on my, to be honest, I just put it on my description. With my
so do I, but I forget to, audibly remind people. And I feel bad. Simon put a lot of work into setting that thing up for me. I mean, it's okay. We've got I think maybe 30.
You got more people on there. You got more than I do, I'll just say.
Oh, really? I thought you had more than me.
Not quite. You're getting more fault, but that's because you have a bigger audience.
So okay, so I was going to say I have 31 or 32, but I think 3 of those are Colin. Poor Colin.
What?
He was trying. By the third time he got it worked out. He's on there now, but.
I was going to bring this up.
Great. Thank you.
This is another. I would probably count this as a horror, psychological horror. As another favorite of mine. Perfect Blue, the anime movie.
That shows up on the horror list.
Yeah, it would be considered that. So think of, okay, you know how Paranoia Agent kind of played with your head a bit, like what they were seeing?
Right,
it's kind of like that, but it messes with your mind, like what's really going on. And then it reveals what was really going on. There was to me, it almost like there was 2 things happening. And it was kind of also messing with your head a little bit until the very conclusion. But I thought it was pretty good.
Is that the one that you said Black Swan or the Black Swan was based on?
That was Yeah, there was 2 movies that got inspired because of that. It was
Okay.
that, and there
All
was
right.
another movie where this girl's in the tub and she's screaming in the tub. I don't know what that one was called, but apparently
I don't know
that was
either.
based off of a scene in Perfect Blue. And Perfect Blue is pretty disturbing too, like kind of getting a little disturbing here, but she's kind of like getting involved in an acting business. But there's a
Right.
scene that she's playing where she's getting sexually assaulted. It's now it's not real. It's all acting, but it sort of it traumatizes her.
Oh,
And it
playing
looks
that
real
part.
too. It looks
Uh-huh.
real. To be honest, I felt uncomfortable like looking at it, even though it was all acting.
They were acting, yeah.
But it looked real. And so that kind of. But yeah, I that would be another
that's
favorite.
perfect. That's Perfect Blue, you said.
Yeah, so that would be
Perfect Blue.
another favorite of mine.
Maybe I'll check that out sometime because I've seen that multiple times. Whenever I go to horror list, that thing pops up.
Yeah, it's
the
good.
Gate.
Like I said, I wasn't crazy about Paranoia Agent, but his first movie's good. I haven't seen his other movies, but I don't know. Perfect Blue I like more. But then again,
yeah. Is that the one you went to go see at the theater?
Yeah, it was just me.
Okay. Just you. Okay. Just you all by your lonesome. So The Gate. I first saw the Gate a few years ago. Teresa was here. I think Teresa was watching it with me.
What is that?
The Gate. And you know, I don't know how long I was watching that movie before it finally clicked with me who that kid was. And it was Stephen Dorff, who played in the first Blade and also in True Detective. And I don't remember a lot of the specifics about it. Ended up getting, yeah, you lucky thing. So did you physically go to? See, I kind of shy away from the physical screeners because I used to go to those, but sometimes the crowds are just like crazy, and you'll be waiting for hours maybe, and you're not even guaranteed to get in. So I had turned away from those now, just because I was like, I'd rather just watch some of these things in my own house. But yeah, well, I'm looking forward to seeing your review. If you get it up before Friday, I'm going Friday at
isn't
like
that
6 something.
Isn't that reviewer
I'll watch it.
that joined you and Derek on that?
Yeah, D. That was a fun discussion.
Hop on right now. We could keep going. We could keep going.
Well, if he wants to, I'll send him the link, but I don't want to pressure him. It's well named because it's the perfect gateway movie for kids getting into horror. Yeah, getting kids into horror. True.
No.
Yeah, you're next. Yeah, it's very good. I've seen Ready or Not. That's really good. Oh, Would You Rather? I think I saw that. That's the one where the people are sitting at the table and they have to. Is that the one where they have to do awful things to each other? Because that sounds like that one. But Ready or Not was actually funny. It was horror, but it was
the trailer.
It was actually really. It was
funny.
I
got kind of like about it because the trailer. You know why I got about it? Because the trailer just revealed too much.
Yeah.
I hate trailers.
I
really like when if ever I were to publish something media wise, I would not, and I mean I would not go to the extent of showing 50% of stuff. It's like
or major spoilers. I'm so glad I never watched the Halloween trailer, the Halloween Kills trailer.
Yeah,
I'm so
like
glad.
Halloween, that showed too much.
That was telling you, that was showing a whole bunch of like the victims that he was that you knew were probably gonna get it. No, I have not seen Vacancy 2, and I don't even think I knew that there was a sequel or another Vacancy. Troll 2. I've seen the Troll only in passing.
Trolls.
It is heartwarming and heartbreaking. Let me tell you, that little girl. Oh my gosh, she's a really good actor. I just said she's a really good actor. My two favorite horror.
The Korean girl.
Yeah, Tormented.
Wait. Is this someone I know or recognize?
No, she's a good actor. The little girl who plays the daughter. It's funny that. What?
I was going to say, just most like either Japanese voice actors or Korean actors, they put a lot of expression with stuff.
So do British actors too, and Aussie
Yeah, have
actors.
you noticed that it's mostly foreign? I mean, don't get me wrong, we
Yes.
do have good actors here. It's just I've noticed it's more like foreign countries that put a lot more effort in. Like it's almost real, you know.
I personally feel that British actors in general are superior to actors from the U.S. Yes, for exactly the reason that you said. That feels genuine. Like you really can buy into the way they're acting.
Like, you know, Japanese voice actors, they put so much expressions on their
Tormented and
their
fanged out.
reaction.
Asian horror films are disturbing. I liked Shudder and The Eye.
Isn't there one set in a high
I've
school?
heard of
That
Shudder.
came out like in '98 or something. I really want to
And
watch.
I think I've heard of The Eye as well.
Mike,
Man, so many
Mike
movies,
mentioned
y'all.
it. Yeah, Mike mentioned it.
Technology. And I wasn't making fun of you. It's just funny because we got 3 Collins. Should I delete those
Colin
other
number
ones?
1, Colin number 2, Colin number 3. Go, go.
It's just funny. And then it was like it worked on the 3rd time. It's like, oh, 3rd time's a charm.
So
oh,
wait,
hold
does
on.
he do reviews too? He does film reviews?
Yes, he does.
Oh, I need to subscribe to him.
Sure. Hold on. Okay, so I'll send you an email. I'll send you the link. Hold on. Let me copy it to. I'll send it to you. Hold on. I gotta hop into my my Gmail. Just a second. No, and I don't mind your voice. You can share some of your favorites with us. I mean, I don't mind it just being your voice.
Yes. Join.
I want to check out some of the other comments. So there were several. Let me see.
And probably whenever D talks about his favorites, I'm probably going to jump onto like the whole issue with the horror genre when it comes to the films, if you don't mind.
No, I don't. But there's a whole lot of comments that I want to go through. So, okay, I sent it to you. Hopefully you got it. Wait a second. Oh, wow. There's so many. Hold on. Technology's hard. Okay. Ed wouldn't think so. Oh, I'm not sure what. Oh, yeah, Near Dark. So Near Dark got brought up, Arturo. Again.
Dark. Wait a minute. Have I
heard that? That's the I've talked about it with Corey. That's I believe, is that John Carpenter? No, he did. Geez, who did Near Dark? Dang it. But that's the vampire movie that I have mentioned before, how it felt very organic. The vampires felt natural. Like you could feasibly buy into them being what they were. It wasn't over the top with the action, and it was gritty. And I never forgot the ending scene, like the climax scene at the end. I thought that was just really well done. Dang it, who directed Near Dark? I don't remember. Oh.
Speaking of anime, Vampire Hunter D Blood. Okay, I do want to watch that at some point.
Is that the second one?
That might be the second one.
I really like the second one better than the first one.
The first one has more of like that 80s anime look.
Oh, Simon answered your question. Or somebody's question. Someone mentioned people screaming in a bathtub.
Yeah, I did.
You did. Okay. He said that was from Requiem for a Dream, which is about people with drug addiction. I've never been interested to watch that film. I've heard it's really disturbing.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was also inspired by Perfect Blue.
And both Requiem for a Dream and Black Swan were directed by the same guy.
And he got inspiration from Perfect Blue. Yeah.
I think we specifically did mention that before. Young Kelly Rowan from the OC is also in The Gate. I would probably recognize that person's face. I don't watch the OC, so I'm not sure who that is. Is that the main guy character? In a recent stream, yeah, Maximum Overdrive. You like that one? I watched it once, years and years ago. And am I incorrect in thinking that was a Stephen King story or book or short story or something? That was a crazy premise. Like when I think of Rubber, I think of that. I'm sure D is busy hunting. Oh, Simon.
What about Alucard?
This is in-person showing, but it wasn't one of the stand. Oh, Okay, I saw the second part of him saying he wanted to, but I missed the part about it wasn't one of the stand-in line ones. Really? That's interesting. How does that work then? So you have a seat that's guaranteed to you, and how does that work? I wouldn't mind doing that, honestly. Foreign actors tend to be trained on stage, forcing them to get it right live, whereas the American system is more based on TV/movies, where second take is always an option. That's a good point. Yeah, that makes complete sense. They just are better in general. My favorite horror directors are Aaron Moorhead and Justin Vincent. I recommend their films Spring, Resolution, and The Endless. Gosh, so many here.
Is that Korean or Japanese?
It doesn't sound like either one because the directors don't sound Korean or Japanese.
Oh, I thought he was okay. See, blame my dyslexia again. Okay, dyslexia. It's its fault. I thought I said Asian there.
Where did you see that? Oh, you just inserted Asian. Okay.
Blame my dyslexia.
The Summer Party Massacre from '82. Yeah, I've seen that. I can't remember if I just watched it and then maybe Joe Bob Briggs. Oh, there's D Movie Man. Hello. Can you hear us?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good.
So, okay, I'm a little distracted by what you said. You said it was an in-person showing, but you didn't have to stand in line?
No, it's like they've done this before. Oh, ironically enough, remember when we talked about the Wonder Woman showing that time? I told you, I think we were discussing, and I told you I ended up seeing Wonder Woman ahead of time, but it was through AMC.
Yeah, okay.
And so it was interesting because the way that one worked out, there was a small line, but then we could choose seats. But with this one and like a couple of other ones, it's like they'll just have it available like in the app. Like I have like the AMC Stubs thing. And so every once in a while, and I'm not sure if that's why they do it, but it'll pop up and it'll show, it'll say like advanced screening for something.
Okay.
And so you can literally just go in and reserve your seat like like you would normally go to like an AMC theater.
So is it you pay for your ticket or is it free advance screening?
It was, I actually think it was free. Yeah, it was free.
Now, okay, I'm not crazy about AMC. I prefer Cinemark, but you said this is AMC you did this through?
Yeah.
Okay. You lucky thing. So did you like it? Did you like it? Was it good?
Am I allowed to say that?
Well, don't give away too many spoilers, but did you like it in general?
No, I don't want to know. No.
I don't mind knowing like how you felt about it. I mean, it's not like a Halloween Kills where I avoided anything before I went in to see it.
Here's the thing, though. If he does say it is going to give us our feeling towards it when we see it. So are you sure, Mom, you really want to know? I don't want to know.
Yes. Okay, plug your ears because I don't mind knowing for this. If it's decent. Just like in general, like, was it better than Kills?
I will say
I hear some hesitation. Okay.
I will say that there are positives that I have about it.
Okay.
There's some good positives.
Okay. Just there are some positive, but there's always also some negatives, right?
I mean, I can't say one way or the other, but all I can say is that there are definitely some positives.
Okay. All right. Okay. I don't have, it's safe to come back in, Arturo, if you can hear me. No. I don't there's some films where I just don't want to know anything about anything.
Like Halloween Kills?
Like Halloween Kills. I really, like how I did with 2018. I didn't want to know anything going in. I didn't want to hear nothing. And then other films I don't mind knowing. So it's okay. If you get your review up, yeah, it does depend on the film. If you get your review up before I go in on Friday, I'll watch it. Okay. I mean, unless you have explicit spoilers.
Oh no. Oh. I usually try to keep it to spoiler free.
Okay.
He needs to watch
he
needs to watch the 2018 and Kills review that I'm putting up, because
definitely
if you want to see Sin really get into the biggest. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen her really let it all out in the live stream, but I don't know.
Well, we talked for like 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah, but
On the dot.
you really let it out.
Exactly.
Like you really just let it out. When you talk about the firefighter scenes, you really let it out.
You know what?
Spoiler alert.
I think by the time we did the live stream, I think I had already seen it twice, and I can't remember if I'd done an accurate count of the firefighters by then.
Right.
But then when I went to see it the next day with Arturo on the big screen, I counted, and he killed 4 firefighters before he got to the saw, the guy with the saw.
I kind of make a funny joke with that in the review. So
I can't.
It's
okay. A short form of the VHS is. Hello, Jeff. How are you doing? I ran across Psycho
like, to be honest, Kills could have been a lot.
Okay.
Kills could have been a lot better.
I absolutely agree.
Have you seen Dee's review yet, Arturo? You must watch it. It's so funny.
Yeah. Is that the one where you send the link to?
Yes, I sent it to you. Yes, he does.
Right.
He does all sorts of funny stuff in there. I was cracking up. It was hilarious.
Yeah, but like my review is about like 40 minutes because there was just too much to talk about.
That's because we had a discussion.
Well, we did like a whole review we combined the 2 movies, 18 and Kills, because they all intertwine with each other.
Because we were comparing it as well. And it was just kind of a discussion about.
I had to like trim some stuff out as much as I wanted to keep stuff in, but it's like close to 40 minutes.
Hey, that's fine. I don't mind a longer video. Just have it playing in the background.
Yeah, especially if it's a movie or subject you're really interested in, I definitely invest time. I don't mind.
I will say I did something pretty funny at the end for it.
Oh yeah, you did a funny thing with the clones. Okay, so D, tell us some of your favorite horror films.
Yeah.
Ooh, some of my favorite horror films. I'll say the first one off the dome that comes to mind is House on Haunted Hill, the 90s version.
Oh, I was going to ask if it was the black and white one, like from long time ago.
Yeah, the Vincent Price one is good too, but that was like I want to say that might have been my first big like full-blown semi close to adult horror experience.
Is that the one with Catherine Zeta-Jones, or am I confusing it with it? There was something with her and Liam Neeson.
No, this is with Jeffrey Rush and Famke Janssen and Taye Diggs and Ali Larter.
Oh.
Okay. I think I saw that in passing. It was one of those, it's up. Oh, someone's here. Who is? Okay, that name.
Poop sauce?
Is this Tim?
Yes.
Is this Tim?
Yes.
Timothy. Okay,
what?
Sorry. This is my brother.
Wait.
Oh, hey.
Wait. Hey. Is he on Discord? Is he on your Discord?
No. I was like, who is joining with a name like that? Poop sauce. Because I sent Matt and Tim a link to the StreamYard. I was not expecting you to show up, Tim.
I'm driving, but I'm not going to have the camera. I'm not going to hold it in my face.
It's okay. You got to be careful while you're driving. I was talking with D. He was talking about some of his favorite horror films, and you were mentioning The House on Haunted Hill.
Yes.
The one with Jeffrey Rush. Okay. Carry on.
And no. The reason why that was like one that really got me into horror. I loved the design because it takes place. I don't know if you remember, but it takes place in this like an abandoned insane asylum, and these people end up being invited to this house. Mm-hmm. And once they get there, they find out that hey, if you stay in this house overnight, you can win $1 million. They have the checks right there, and once it's the morning, you will sign the check and you're good to go. But of course, they don't realize that there's some really terrible, messed up, horrible things hidden in there.
Yeah.
And I think the cast and just the things that happen, the sequences, like the horror aspect of it, there are some really great moments in there. There's one scene I remember where there's a reporter who's just trying to get a scoop for so she can get a big story and so she can get a promotion, all this kind of stuff. And she sneaks down into a certain part of the insane asylum, and the person who was over, like the doctor who was over the experiments, he was basically a sadist. And so she has a video camera, she's doing all this videoing, and she hears this noise. And so she sees this through her video, she sees this, like the same doctor doing an operation, like an open heart surgery, and the person screaming. But then when she puts her camera down, she doesn't see anything. She puts her camera back up and she sees them. Then all of a sudden they look up at her, and then she hears something click behind her, and there is something staring at her in the corridor, and it's game over after that. But there are just some really messed up, crazy moments in that film, and I just love the tone of it. And then Jeffrey Rush is basically doing like a Vincent Price kind of impression, so to speak.
Oh, really? Is he the character that Vincent was?
He's kind of the main character. Yeah, he's kind of the new Vincent Price, but but he's really fun. I enjoy Jeffrey Rush as an actor anyway, but it's a really fun role for him.
Okay. I'll have to check that out again. Like I said, I think it was just something I was playing in the background and didn't pay a ton of attention to.
Wait, what was it called again? The
House on Haunted Hill. Now, we saw the original at Deanna's house with Corey, black and white with Vincent Price.
Oh, yeah.
That was the original, yeah.
Is this the 90s one that I heard was...
It was a remake.
Yeah, I thought I heard that one wasn't good. That's what I heard.
I think
it wasn't bad. It's just dated now.
The House on Haunted Hill?
Yeah, it's dated. And that scene that he was just talking about, I do remember that scene specifically, and I was like, that's kind of creepy as hell.
Really? So what she was seeing, was it just like it was like an image of like what was she?
There was like ghosts or like in a sense like demons in the house, and she's videotaping, and as he was saying, he points the camera down the hallway and he sees these ghosts, like these memories.
Okay, yeah.
And then
yes, it did.
Puts it down. I think there was one part where like it was chilling because they look at her specifically.
Yep.
And then there's a part where she turns it around, all of a sudden turns back, and this dude's like right in her face, and it's like, oh my Lord.
This is a shock jump scare, right? Yeah. The exterior shots of the original House on Haunted Hill were filmed at the Frank Lloyd Wright designed Ennis house in the Hollywood Hills. Interesting. Oh. I did not know that. Its Mayan-inspired tiling was also used in Deckard's apartment in Blade Runner. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right, so Tim, I'll jump over to you. We'll jump back to D. We'll kind of go back and forth between the two of you because Artur and I have already gone through a lot of ours. So what's like one of your favorite horror movies, Tim?
One of my favorites is one that I referred to you that time you did the watch of the on Vudu, or I don't know, maybe you watched it somewhere else, but Event Horizon.
Event Horizon, yeah, okay, that was brought up.
Super creepy. It's one of those things where like it had that kind of alien kind of feel where normally you have these horror movies like Halloween where you can just run and get away, and this one's where are you gonna run? You can't go anywhere. You're on this ship. You're kind of stuck with it,
right?
And then the budget in itself was a reason why that movie doesn't feel as dated, because they were going to go full CGI and they didn't, like for the spaceship and a lot of the effects, but they didn't get the budget for it, so they reverted back to like the style of Ridley Scott doing Aliens and,
with the miniatures and stuff.
They did miniatures, and so it still looks really good when you watch like an HDX version. And something that I thought was kind of funny was that also securing the budget, they had this huge scene which was where this ship's supposed to have gone to like almost like a hell dimension, and they didn't really have a lot of money to film it, and it was going to basically be people like they're ripping each other, biting into people, and they're having like all these weird sex acts, whatever. So they just hired a bunch of porn stars because they were cheaper than they were hiring actual people.
Yeah, right.
They shot all their film stuff in just like a couple of hours, and they're like, bye.
Right. I think I remember that.
It was good in a lot of ways, and it's still something I kind of go back to take a look at time to time.
Oh, this was
Okay.
97. Man, we didn't even watch this one for that 97 discussion we had.
No, you'd probably like it. It was decent.
Ooh.
It was creepy for sure. In answer to a comment here, he said the only Vincent Price film I can vividly remember watching is House of Wax from '53. I've seen that. He was also in the original version of the I Am Legend, which is Will Smith, but that was also a remake of Omega Man, I thought, or something
Yes.
like, or
The
Last
Omega
Man on Earth, or yeah, and I think the Vincent Price one was that the one that was the Last Man on Earth or something, but they were all three basically kind of the same story. So yeah, scary concept. Okay, D, do you have any more to share with us?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
The Orphanage, aka El Orfanato. It is from 2007. And at one point I thought Guillermo del Toro had directed it, because at the top of the DVD it had said, "Oh, from the makers of Pan's Labyrinth," but he only produced it. But the director is J.A. Bayona, who ironically did I think it's Jurassic World Forbidden Kingdom, that last sequel that came out. But yeah, it basically is a story about a girl who grows up in an orphanage, then as an adult comes back to buy the orphanage to turn it into a home for disabled children. But she is unaware that there is this dark legacy at the root of the house. And as she is trying to, she's trying to do something positive, of course, with the property. She has a son and she has an entire family. But on the day that it's meant to, show this off to all these buyers and these people who want to enter their children into this program, something really horrible happens and some people go missing. And it then becomes this quest to discover what happened, why this disappearance took place, and what is hidden in this house, and how her upbringing is tied to that history. And there are just some genuinely bone-chilling moments in the film. There's an entire sequence where someone is basically sent into a trance, and they are having to discover and hear literally from whatever is inhabiting the house what something really horrible that took place. And the character, the person is literally experiencing it and hearing it as it happens. And these people are watching it and hearing it on the screen as she's going through the house. And there are just some really, really impactful moments as far as the scares, and of course there's a really messed up twist at the end of it.
Of course, right.
Me, yes, but that's a really underrated one.
So that one comes up pretty regularly in lists of horror favorites or whatever, and I always connected that with Guillermo del Toro as well. I was thinking he directed it too, but that's because he directed The Devil's Backbone.
Yep, right. That's a good one too.
Yeah, I started to rewatch it. I mean, I started to try to watch it again because I've tried to watch it before. But what happens is I try to watch it without English subtitles, just like Spanish subtitles, and so cause it's slow going for me.
Right.
So because I'm reading, and it gets a little mentally exhausting. But I do want to watch both of those because I've heard that they're both really good. Have you seen The Devil's Backbone? Have you seen it, Dee?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking Arturo. No, I have seen it. No, that's a great one. I actually bought that not that long ago on the Criterion Collection. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I know Arturo hadn't seen it, so yeah. So Simon here says fans of the tabletop game Warhammer 40K consider Event Horizon to be an unofficial prequel to the game. Screenwriter Philip Eisner later acknowledged that the game influenced the story. Had you heard that before, Tim?
I have not heard that before.
Okay, that's interesting.
Trivia.
Yeah, I know. See, I remember when I was watching Event Horizon, I kept getting distracted by the trivia pop-ups that were coming because I was watching it on IMDb, and there were all these really interesting trivia things that kept popping up. Motel Hell, yeah, I've seen that before. That's disturbing, that movie. I think it was on Joe Bob Briggs as well one time. So, okay, Timbo, what's another film for you?
Probably another one that I go back to once every few years is the original Alien. Watch that on HDX, and it's again another movie that really holds up.
Oh yeah.
And,
I remember.
And Aliens, the second one, directed by James Cameron. It was a good follow up, and it was definitely a completely different vein, because the first one was definitely the horror aspect of it, and then the second one almost turns it into like a war movie, rather than the.
Yeah, it was like more action.
Yeah, there was, but I still like the first one better, just because it had that slower kind of creepy crawler. This thing always kind of coming out of nowhere, and there's only one, whereas in the second one there's like a whole army of them, and but I feel like the first one better.
A lot of people feel like the second one is better, but I agree with you. I like the first one more.
Yeah, to me, it's almost like the Terminator 1, Terminator 2 scenario. The first one, to me, always felt like a horror film.
More horror.
Because it's humans against a machine trying to... But the second one, they get a machine to help, you know? So
then it's like more action adventure.
It's also more action-y, yeah.
I agree.
It's kind of the same with Aliens, or Alien and Aliens.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the first time I saw Alien, and it was pretty scary to me, actually. At the time, especially at the end, you know, when she's all by herself and she has to figure out how to deal with that. And that was really frightening to me. And the scene where it comes, you know, I'm sure you you're into movies and movie buff and everything. I'm sure, and you are too, Tim. I'm sure you both already have heard the story about when they filmed that scene of the alien coming out of John Hurt's belly. That it was a shock to everybody. Like they did not know what was going to happen. And so the shock on their face was genuine, because they were not told beforehand what was going to go down.
The director was probably like, okay, so your friend's he's gonna feel pretty sick. And you're gonna have to take care of him on the table.
I found that so fascinating. I really like that story. Jeff, you have to say it 5 times. 5 times, not 3. 5.
What?
He says, so who all is up for Candyman 3 times in the mirror tonight with lights on?
No, I wouldn't do it.
I'm good.
I brought up Candyman earlier, but
I know, right?
One series I have not seen yet. I do want to see the first 3. Because they're also.
I want to rewatch 2 and 3, which I've only seen in passing.
I need to watch the first one before we get to that. Maybe we can
watch I didn't realize 2 or 3 existed until maybe like a few months ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
I was thinking it was just the one.
Yeah, I remember I had seen 1 years ago, and I wasn't crazy about it at the time. I mean, it was okay, but I felt like, oh, it's just your typical horror, and this thing happens, you know, like at the end, But then I rewatched it right before going to see the 2021 version, which. But I rewatched it, and I appreciated it more the second time around. I thought it was very well done. And I had seen Jimbo. 2 and 3. I know he sounded like he was driving through a bad area. He was on his cell phone. Well, maybe if he can hop back on. He's got the link. I think Bloody Mary is 3 times. Candyman is 5. Yeah, and Candyman, what was kind of interesting about the story of Candyman is that was sort of a mixture of the Bloody Mary urban legend and the urban legend of the Hook.
Well, but didn't they also base him off of a real like killing that happened too?
Yeah.
So did you? That's creepy. You hear about that? You're talking about the killing in the complex, right? I was talking to D.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Isn't that creepy?
It is. Because for the longest, I assumed he was just. I mean, of course. I mean, there was kind of a whole process involved, and I know it's based off of an actual story, written story. But yeah, I didn't realize until I got older that there was an actual real history, that they were kind of a real incident that they were attaching that to.
That was creepy.
Yeah, like didn't that killing happen? What, like in the 80s or 70s? Because then Candyman. The first Candyman came out in 92.
19. Oh, yeah. Okay.
They bring it up in the 92 film.
So were they, when they referred to that murder, were they referring to the real murder, or were they referring to a made up murder for the story? Do you remember, D? Because I thought they were honestly, I don't remember if they were referring to the real life murder or if it was one that was for purpose.
Well, I think. Well, the thing is, the reason why it's not the literal one is because the woman, because I want to say Anthony's mother. I can't remember if her name was Ruthie Mae, but the actual woman's name was Ruthie Mae McCoy, and I know that Vanessa Williams' character. I want to say that's her name. So they took her, kind of her name and her likeness, I'm assuming, as inspiration. But as we know in the first film, spoiler, her character doesn't. So I think they were bringing that into it. But the actual story is pretty frightening, especially because it involves the medicine cabinet.
Yeah, that's like so creepy.
Right.
Oh my gosh. And she had called for help. Like she called 911, and for whatever reason they didn't take her seriously. I think maybe she had a history of mental problems or something like that, and nobody showed up for like 2 or 3 days. And then of course when they showed up, she was dead, and they found out the guy had come in through her medicine cabinet. Good night.
Yeah.
It's so terrible. And it's 2021. I know. Get with the times. You say candy person. Do it my way 3 times, then you're safe. Yes, I agree. I think we'll just. That's for the sequel. These comments, I get so distracted. Urban Legends, I remember that.
I do too.
That had the Noxema girl in it, right? And it had Freddy Krueger in it, I think. Maybe. Did it?
Robert Englund? I think he might have been in it.
I think he was in it. Oh gosh, here we go again. Okay, so Tim mentioned one of his other favorites was oh my gosh, Alien. And so what's another one for you, Dee? Because we've talked about a ton of movies, so I want to give you guys plenty of time to share some of your favorites.
Really quickly, I'm just going to say, because you guys mentioned Alien, there's a video game. I haven't played it, and I'm actually kind of scared to play it, but it's called Alien Isolation. And it basically is you kind of having this experience on board the initial, I can't remember the name of the ship, but you're having that actual experience on board the ship, and you're trying to figure out what's going on with the crew, but it is literally like first person. And as you're trying to figure out what has happened, the alien, of course, is stalking you and kind of tracking your moves, and it can kill you at any time. And because it's randomized, it can kill you at any time. And then if you die, it can kill you another way. It can grab you in a locker and figure out you're in the locker. Like you have a tracker that kind of tells you where it might be, but it can still like literally kill you at any time. And then there are these dark hallways, like it gets really, really quiet. Like it is literally a horror video game, like with Alien. And I thought that whole concept was so, like, if you look at some of the clips and some of the trailers for it, it's really creepy.
I think Dee, to piggyback back on this, this game you can play, I think, in VR.
Okay.
What you can also do is enable it. Hold on, you can enable the speakers from your TV to pick up the sound in your house. So if there is a jump scare and you make a noise, you're
Tim,
alien to where you are. So you can actually get killed if, let's say can you hear me?
Yeah, you crapped out for a second there.
Okay, so basically if you're playing the game and somebody opens a door or somebody rings the doorbell or your phone rings, that's noise, and these things base themselves off of noise.
Yeah.
You could actually get killed if somebody was like walked in and was like, "Hey, Dee, what's for dinner?" And all of a sudden this thing goes boom, bam, and this cat attacks you. Yeah, so it's like I don't know if I'd ever want to play like that. My house is too noisy, but right with the fun. Kids. And another one that I'm not sure, Dee, if you've ever played, the probably I'd say the scariest. The first Dead Space, that was really something. Okay. Definitely visit that, and I think they're doing a remastered version very soon for like PS5 or something. But that one has a lot of callbacks to the Alien kind of feel to it.
I was gonna say I thought this was the game that I'm sorry, I'm jumping to Alien Isolation. I thought this was the game that Colin had mentioned specifically, and it is. So yeah, so you said you're not. Do you have the game, or you just don't plan to get it, Tim? Oh, Tim, he can't hear me. He always drives you terrible.
You're asking.
I was asking you because you said I don't remember if you said you weren't going to turn this feature on, or you just weren't going to get it because your house is too noisy.
No, yeah, I just wouldn't turn that feature on because I would be killed from everything in
Yeah,
the
you
room.
would because Loki barking at the ice machine, your kids.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, so the key is you're supposed to play it that way for the overall experience. Like I said, you could put on the VR where it's pretty much that's all you see is what you see. You don't see you don't see your but it has really, really, really good reviews overall as a game.
Okay, well, I won't be playing it.
Perfect.
I'm sure.
I don't know. Doesn't sound like D's up for playing it either. I think he's a little scared of it as well. I'm ignoring Michael Meyers up in the upper right hand corner. This is his second showing today. Let's see. Chris says that he believes Alien Isolation is on Amazon Gaming right now. Okay, yeah. Super immersive. Woo, yeah, no.
Too immersive.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I got Dead by Daylight, but I don't know if it's going to work on my laptop. And so I don't know if I'm even brave enough to do that. Arturo wants me to live stream that with him. I don't know. With Michael Meyers chasing me. I recently watched a reaction to American Werewolf in London and LOL'd when the actor was like, it felt weird to laugh at his dead friend whose face was falling off, telling him to kill himself. It's been a while since I've seen that film. That's a fun movie.
It is. It's really good.
It's disturbing.
No, it is. And to me, even, and I understand things get dated. You can't help the year in which things are made. But to me, that transformation scene is still so effective. Like when you can hear the bones popping and they're like, ugh, like it's very, very effectively done.
Yeah, it's, I don't think you've seen that, Arturo. I'm talking to Arturo only. He does this to me. Anyway, okay. So you talked about a game first, but you're getting ready to talk about another film favorite of yours.
Yes. I was actually going to say Rosemary's Baby.
Oh yeah, I watched that for the first time like sometime earlier this year or last year.
Really? Yeah. I think I want to say this had to have been, I think I was in high school and they had it at the library. You know, the library has all kinds of movies, but I was like, okay, let me check this out. And it was unprecedented. And I guess not knowing anything about the story, like it genuinely caught me off guard. I was thinking like, okay, you know, maybe there's something in this, you know, apartment, and even the style of like the 1960s and the penthouse apartment and the style and all that in itself was already creepy, and the style and the design of all that. But then kind of going along and seeing like what the reality is, like the neighbors, everybody is in on this. We know what's going on. And that dream sequence, because I promise, like for me, after a while, I was just like, maybe like, I don't know, like maybe this isn't what I think it is. And it wasn't, because when she had that dream and she was tied down and then you kind of realize what's going on, like it genuinely shocked me. And so go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you went into it not knowing at all what it was, okay. So I knew, because I had been told a long time ago what it was about. So it didn't shock me, but I can imagine it probably would have been surprising if you had no idea.
Yeah, like when she kind of like is having the dream, that she kind of, she's like, this is really happening. Then you see those eyes come towards her. Yeah, it really got me. And then just the fact, and then her, you know, carrying around this pregnancy and her basically being kind of trapped in this situation. And even the ending in and of itself is disturbing, because you don't know. I kind of have an idea, but even when she looks at the baby, it's almost like, like maybe this can be okay. And I
I know. Yeah. Well, I guess she felt, she was trapped, and she maybe she felt like she had no other alternative, and it was her child.
Right.
And so her maternal instinct was kicking in.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
kind of and they reinforced that too. They were like, you know, he needs a mother, you know,
Yeah.
like steward him and lead him and guide him, and you know, so
Yeah, I know. Yeah, disturbing film.
very
For
much
sure.
so.
Yeah, this is Michael. People are okay. Have you seen Rosemary's Baby, Tim?
Long time ago, and honestly, I it's so far, and I think I was so young when I saw it, I don't remember pretty much.
No.
I don't
So it'd
even
be
remember
like,
I don't even remember the twist. That's how
oh,
young-
okay. Well, maybe you should check it out again sometime. We won't get too in depth.
Okay.
And see if, because there's a lot of films that I've seen from a long time ago too, and I've forgotten almost everything, and I rewatch it, and it is like watching it for the first time, which is great.
Exactly. Exactly.
Good thing about forgetting stuff. Oh shit! Hold on, sorry. I hope he did. I had to hide that comment. I didn't want Tim to see it.
I'm driving. It's okay.
Okay, okay.
Sometimes when you watch these movies from the past, and you had like such great feelings or nostalgia with them, and then you watch them later, and they just didn't age well. You just like sad, like just how crappy it is. And I remember that happened with Willow, because I remember as a kid I thought Willow was the shit. And then I was like 20, and then I was like, I bought it on DVD and I put it in. I was like, what in the hell? This is trash. And then there was a couple of scenes that were kind of funny with Val Kilmer as Mad Mardigan, but for the most part, I was like, I hated that I watched it again, and I never watched it again after that, because I was like, I don't have any feels for this movie at all.
Aw. Did you sell your DVD then?
It was ruined by that water.
Oh yeah, by the water leak. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I guess you don't miss it too much. Speaking of the Ninth Gate, it's funny because when that was playing again, I've seen that years ago, and then it was playing again the other day. And there's some scenes from the Ninth Gate where Johnny Depp's character's running like along this place by the water where there's like a bridge and stuff. And that scenery was very reminiscent of the movie. I think it was called Frantic with Harrison Ford. And that was also directed by Roman Polanski. And I didn't realize at the time I watched The Ninth Gate that was also a Roman Polanski movie.
Oh, I didn't either.
So obviously he filmed it in the same locations where he filmed Frenzy. And the girl who played in Frantic, the girl who played in Frantic with Harrison Ford was Roman Polanski's wife. She also played in The Ninth Gate. And she still looks so young. Well, I guess The Ninth Gate was only about maybe 10 or 11 years afterwards. So it wasn't like a huge amount of time had passed. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny that you could kind of like tell the scenery was the same. And then, of course, his wife is in there again. Right. I have never seen Eraserhead. Have you guys seen that?
Oh, I have tried, and I still am trying to recover from the PTSD.
The poster of it looks so, I don't know, it just kind of turns me off because it's like it just doesn't.
It is unsettling.
Really? What's it about?
I can't even explain what it's about, because it's almost like a film that exists in like an alternate universe where nothing makes sense. It's like one of those really intensely experimental films. And it's basically about like, I guess if we were to step back from it, it's about a man, trying to make establish some sense of a family life, I suppose. But there's so much attached to that, and I don't even know where to begin with it. It's a lot. Okay.
All right. Sounds like something I'll probably avoid. Okay. I have not seen all of Hostel, I don't think. I know it's pretty bloody, though. Funny, we're talking about all these movies about the anxiety of parenthood while Arturo has that mask on. Christine was an odd one. Yeah, that was that Stephen King. I've seen it once. I remember liking it at the time, but it might be one of those. Did he direct that? John Carpenter directed Christine? I totally forgot that was one of his.
Yeah, Matt Ron told me about it.
Okay, wow. Interesting. Never went. Yeah, I think it was the poster of Eraserhead, just kind of like, I just didn't really excite me too much. So I must watch it. Okay. Okay, well then maybe you'll maybe you'll like this.
Yeah,
Pretty
I think
good.
you will, because it's to the extreme of like WTF. So
Oh
definitely.
yeah. If things are, oh, you guys, I watched this movie on Shudder last night.
Oh boy.
I saw a trailer for it. It's Nicolas Cage. Well, I should have known right off that might spell trouble. It was Nicolas Cage, and I love Nick Cage, but it was this movie called The Color of Space. The Color Out of Space. Okay, the trailer for it looked interesting. I watched it. I was like, oh my god! It had like high reviews, right? Of course, that should be another, especially from the critics, right? And that movie was so insane and ridiculous. I can't with it. You haven't seen it? Yeah, it doesn't sound like you've seen it. Oh my goodness gracious! Yeah, and yeah, that was. I was just like, what the heck? This is so crazy.
That
like
that sounds like Nicolas Cage.
It was definitely, and a lot of people like the.
He is hurting for money.
Poor Nick Cage.
Yeah.
A lot of people liked Mandy as well, and I didn't like Mandy. I didn't like that movie. And they say that he's really good in the movie Pig.
Yeah, I heard that too.
But I know how it ends, so I don't know if I want to see. I know. But there is a movie that he played in, I think, called Primal. Is that the one where he's like a big game hunter or collector or something? And that one looks pretty interesting. So I think I might check that one out.
See, I need to catch up on Nicolas Cage movies, because I literally remember the last thing of Nicolas Cage that I really remember is The Family Man. And that was like back in, I don't know, 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
Like that was a long time ago.
I think the best movie I've ever seen him display really, really good acting in was probably Lord of War. He's in that movie.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh my God, Jared Leto. That I was amazed by his performance in that movie, and I think it's probably the last movie that he was in that was, in my opinion, good.
I heard good things about that.
Well, wouldn't you consider Ghost Rider
I
kind of
saw.
horror?
No.
No.
Well,
consider-
it kind of
I would
creeped me
probably
a little
consider
bit.
that,
Some of the scenes.
Just shitty Marvel movie.
I mean,
I enjoyed the
think it was
first
bad.
Ghost Rider. It
liked the
was
first
fun.
Ghost Rider.
So if all of Lovecraft's stuff is like Color Out of Space, I had heard something about it mentioned alongside the name Lovecraft. If that's the way most or all of his stuff is like, I am not a fan. I thought that movie was just ridiculous. It was too out there. Me either. I like Nick Cage, even if he's in terrible films a lot of times.
I mean, we
too.
saw him.
I love National Treasure. I mean,
it's a fun film.
movie. The first one. The second one was just ridiculous.
Watch
So the first one was fun.
They still haven't been able to effectively. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we also recently saw him for the '90s
called him?
discussion. The Rock. What was the other one?
Con Air.
Con Air. Wasn't there another one he was in too?
The Rock was good.
The Rock.
He's in everything.
The Rock
He's
Archer.
in everything.
Yeah,
that's what I
he's
said,
like Bruce
The Rock.
Willis. He's like Bruce.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He doesn't turn down a role. Was there another Nick Cage movie you saw?
I thought there was another '90s Nick Cage, but maybe I'm wrong. I thought there was one of the years he had like 2 movies in the '90s that we saw. Like I know '96 was The Rock, '97 was
Con Air?
Con Air, yeah. But I thought there was something else too.
I know he's done Face Off
in Face
and
Off.
City of Angels.
Face Off.
Okay, that's another
You saw Face
97.
Off.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, his Face Off.
I don't think I've seen City of Angels. 8mm. Yeah, that's the one with
Oh, he was also Snake Eyes too. He was in Snake Eyes.
yeah, he was in Snake Eyes.
Yep.
8mm. Was that Nick Cage and Joaquin
Yes.
Phoenix? Okay, yeah.
Some people consider The Rock, just like this theory is that it's the final Sean Connery James Bond movie, and that was in a sense supposed to be his character.
Yeah. So he was like James Bond. He was arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you may have told me that as
It's
well.
not really, but it fits it perfectly.
Right. Yeah, Leaving Las Vegas. I heard about that movie and
Hate
knew
Don't
it
watch
had
it. Don't
a terrible
watch
ending, so I decided not to.
it. especially if
Yeah.
you have friends that are terrible alcoholics. It's
Yeah.
not a fun movie.
I am not a fan of movies that deal with drug abuse and alcoholism. I find them so overwhelmingly depressing.
Yeah.
So I typically stay away from
Did
that.
they already talk about their last third favorite?
No, they haven't talked. They have.
Or not
they've
third.
got
I mean, how many more favorites?
however many they wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
If either one of you guys want to bring up another one that comes to mind, because there's so many horror films. You know,
I
it's
know.
a little hard to pick some of your favorites.
I like the original Thing, and I thought
Yeah.
the
Wait.
reboot / prequel.
Wait. Are you talking about the black and white one?
No, the one from the 80s.
John Carpenter.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I really like that one, and I like the reboot / prequel that they did.
I did too. I like that as well.
Yeah, and it flows perfectly into the next.
Yes.
The original.
It's seamless.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's pretty. I mean, obviously, the technology is a little better in the newer one, but it just ends, and then you could pick up with the Thing. Like you could just see it as one whole movie.
I didn't know it was a prequel.
Yeah.
But
I didn't either.
I was watching it and I'm like, oh man, they did a really good job like creating like after the fact. I watched it. They did a really good job just using all that same tech. There's no cell phone, no things like that. And I watched the original. Well, not the original, the Carpenter's version.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like 2 or 3 days before I watched that one. And of course, how that one starts and things are going on. And then I watched
with the dog.
Came out a couple of days later. And as I'm watching it, I have no clue. I'm just thinking this is just, in a sense, like a reboot. And then at the very end, the dog starts running. And I was like, oh my, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's what, watching it so close back to back was just kind of like in my face how well they did putting that together.
Yeah, I was impressed with it. And I knew going into it that it was a prequel. And so when the ending happened with the dog running off, I was like, oh, this is so good. This is just like, you can just pick right up with the Thing and watch that. And it's like you're watching one long movie.
Some YouTuber put those pieces together. Like he took the ending of the prequel and then put the beginning of the original, like the 82, the Thing in with it. And it just blends so well.
It does. It really does. It was impressive. Some people hated on it, but some people also didn't like you, D. You didn't realize it was a prequel. Some people thought it was a reboot.
Yeah, I thought that at the time, or like a remake. Yeah, I thought the same thing.
I haven't even seen it yet, but I've seen the original.
You probably would like. I think both of you would probably enjoy it. Want to check it out sometime?
I still like.
An honorable mention is it's kind of like got a horror vein to it, but it's not full on horror because of the action and somewhat comedic aspects to it. But Blade 2. Like reinvention of the vampire in that movie was
I know.
Really impressive.
Yeah.
The first time
that I
watched that in the theater, and when that thing's mouth opened the first time, I was like, "Oh damn!" Oh
yeah.
It's like kind of, and I remember that night I had a dream about a vampire, and it did that, and
that's funny.
it was just unsettling to see its mouth open up like that.
Yeah.
This weird tongue shoot out. I was that was gross.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you, Guillermo del Toro.
Right. Well, that's true. I mean, it really was. It was disturbing, and
I wish they would.
I never
just
forgot
get
it.
him.
It's my favorite.
I wish they would just get him to come back and do this next Blade movie that's supposed to be in the MCU.
I think Guillermo del Toro is too dark for the MCU.
Unfortunately,
I mean, they could do something about it. They could.
I mean, I think he would do a great job.
Yep.
But because I do like his. I mean, that's why Blade 2 is my favorite because he's the one that directed it.
Did you hear I told you. I think I've told you, but did you hear that they got one of the writers that made that Marvel comic, which they ended up like stopped making because of how bad it was. They got him.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about
the like I'm concerned.
I am too. I am too.
That's why I said
Donnie Darko. Yeah, I know they won't. He's not attached. Do you guys think Donnie Darko would be a horror?
I saw it like a fleeting moment, and I didn't watch it all. I don't. Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't really do anything to make me excited to see a movie sometimes.
He really annoyed me in that latest movie, The Guilty. Oh my gosh,
it was bad.
Oh, you need to watch the
heard it
original,
was.
Tim. Oh, you need to watch the original. It's so much better.
Okay, I definitely will put that on my list. The original.
He aggravated me. He really got on my nerves very early on because he was just such an ass to like just in general.
To everybody.
To everybody. I mean, he was just so snappy with even his coworker, and he just went over the top. And he was so unlikable by the end. I just did not care about his revelation. I'm like, I don't even care about you. Go on. I don't even want to hear you talk anymore, Jake. Just close your mouth, because it was so aggravating. But the original is really well done. They're very subtle with that. Like, you get vague hints that there's something on his mind, but he's not snappy like how Jake was in the movie, and he does not like doing all the abrupt, like yelling at the people he's talking on the phone, like people he's trying to coordinate with to help. Like Jake was yelling at them and hanging up on them. And it's like, dude, anyway, whatever. So I don't know, Dee, would you consider Donnie Darko horror?
See, I need to like watch. I remember when I was younger, and of course that demonic rabbit is still it's
right.
hard
That's
to get
probably what might make it feel like horror.
Exactly. So I think that's the one thing that stands out. So it could be, but I'd have to watch it again to know for sure.
Yeah. I've seen it. I don't know if I would personally consider it horror. I know the rabbit's creepy, but fundamentally it doesn't really feel like a horror film to me.
Yeah, I never took it as a horror film.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's see. The reason people hate the Thing prequel is that they made practical effects in the vein of Rob Bottin's original, and the producer scrapped it all to replace it with crappy 2011 CGI. Oh. Okay, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Touching back on Blade 2. Yeah. That I've never seen a vampire imagined that way. And that was very disturbing. I was actually afraid. Action. Like it was like so vampires don't really scare me. That vampire scared me because he was really creepy.
It was also crazy because the vampires are supposed to be top of the food chain, and this other thing's just taking them out like easy. And it's like, ooh.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, Simon. Simon is crazy. Oh my gosh.
Him and Matt Air would get along just fine with all the
puns.
They
would.
You know what Matt would consider horror? Like, you know who he would what he would consider horror? Take a good guess.
Cats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I would agree. It's horror.
I agree.
I'm not gonna watch that.
Those cockroaches with faces, I cannot.
Oh, there's cockroaches in there.
Yeah, there's faces. Also mice. He sent me pictures of those too.
No.
What if
any good zombie movies?
That's scary.
Yes, Train to Busan was mentioned. I think that was the only zombie. Oh yeah, World War Z. In reference to what Chris said, yeah, I don't think. I mean, it's already PG-13, so that tells me right there it's not. Plus, I'm so partial to Wesley Snipes in that role. I am not very happy about.
I heard the producer wanted to sort of bring Wesley Snipes back for something. So I heard.
Maybe like a cameo, but I'm partial to him.
28 Days Later.
So I
have not seen that movie.
That's a good movie. That's a really good film.
I'll watch that one too.
You haven't seen it?
I was too young when it came out initially, and I wouldn't have had the gall to go see it by myself at that age. So, but it's funny because Chris's picture right now reminds me of the cover of that, the red poster.
Which red poster?
Of 28 Days Later.
You said Chris's picture?
Yeah, it's like he has like the red light on him.
Oh wait, I just see Clint Eastwood in Chris's picture.
Oh really? I see him it's like he's in the car and I see like a red light on his face.
Really? It's a picture of Clint Eastwood. It says too many assholes, not enough something, not enough bullets.
Oh, I
And
can see him.
oh, that's funny. I wonder if he changed his. Okay, yeah, Black Christmas. We talked about Black Christmas. That's actually pretty decent. Horror film.
Another good one, and I'm not sure if you've seen that. I know you have, Cinema, but D, I'm not sure if you've seen the movie called The Crazies.
Walk away, walk on always. Yes, The Crazies. We talked about that.
Okay,
I remember it.
that's a good flick.
You're talking about the remake, right?
The remake.
Yes, the one with Timothy Oliphant is a remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something about zombie movies because there's like this potential that could be real.
Yeah.
Like there could be some kind of weird epidemic that does make people eat others. I mean, look at the guy in Florida with the bath salts.
The bath salts, yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right.
So like,
right.
There is this possibility that they could, out of all horror movies, be something that's a reality.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wasn't Matthew telling us one time about some sort of experiment or testing that was done on like I don't know, was it like an insect?
An insect, yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was dead, but it kept moving.
It was dead, and they did something and like basically brought it back to life or something.
Yeah.
It's creepy. Something creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his live feed in car with red light. Oh, you're talking about Tim.
I'm sorry. You know what? I said Chris because the name, like the names come up with the comments.
Okay, you were mixing him up with my brother.
Yeah,
Tim.
no, yeah. I think
there
was a name. I could be wrong, but I think as the comments come up, someone's name was Chris, and so it looked like his display name.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay, I was a little confused. I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, Black Christmas and When a Stranger Calls, they're very similar. I almost feel like When a Stranger Calls was inspired by Black Christmas. I don't know. So, Dead Set, written by Black Mirror writer. I've not heard of that.
I want to say, I was going to bring this up, but I kind of feel like as of now, there's kind of been like more of a trend for horror games. To be honest.
Yeah, you've been wanting to talk about horror games.
I wanted to kind of compare between like the film, like the horror films to the horror games. Like nowadays, the horror genre in the film industry, it's kind of just generic, except for the exception Conjuring and a few others, But don't you guys kind of feel that way?
Simon.
Like kind of just generic,
or a lot of horror
lacking
is
in things like,
well,
like it's not the same like from the 80s or 90s,
Yeah, I was gonna say I've said this. Like I think I did I did a review on The Invisible Man, and I think I just dropped a review for Lamb today. And I've said before, yeah, but I've said before that horror is very subjective, and I understand that what defines scary is kind of different from person to person. Like there are things that might scare me that might not scare you.
Right.
But I think that and I grew up reading like a lot of horror stories, like horror mythology, horror from different parts of the world. Like I've read a lot of different horror. So I know that there are different ways in which you can approach horror and kind of interpret horror. But I think that as a genre, there is kind of like this box that has been placed in. And when you think of like horror, people think of the Conjuring universe. And if it's something that kind of deviates from that kind of very obvious horror, then I think a lot of people don't see it that way. And they're like, well, this isn't scary. This isn't horror. So,
yeah.
I thought Sinister was put together pretty well. I mean, I don't think it got like great praise, but I thought the concept was pretty good. And I enjoyed it for what it was. And usually horror movies don't really do much for me. And I kind of clown on them a lot. And I was talking about The Invisible Woman with Mary the other day, and I was like, this movie's so unbelievable. And she's like, why? And I was like, well,
Invisible Woman?
Yeah, The Invisible Man. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I said, this movie's so unbelievable. She goes, why? And I was like, there's no way that guy is smitten with that ugly ass woman.
But like that's the thing I've noticed.
He can easily control her.
She's not cute.
No, but he could easily control her. She was under his thumb.
Ugh.
You know, so she was, you know, maybe she was the girl that would put up with the abuse.
What up, Joe?
Hi, Joe. How's it going?
Like, that's the thing. It seems like horror games, to me, like now, even older ones from like the 2000s or late 90s, they have more of an impact than like the horror movies today. But also, you could make choices in the games too. And most of the time, maybe once in a while, but most of the time they don't have that very generic ending unless you choose to have that generic ending in the horror game. Because most of the time we get these horror films are always like bad ending.
What do you consider a generic
it's
ending?
more like the bad endings in my perspective. Like they're always like, I mean, I kind of get it. In life, it's probably not going to be that like easy for the person.
Well, kind of because like horror movies are almost like, as Dee was saying, like they're kind of in this box. They're like a one-trick pony, and there's not really much you can do outside of what's already been done. Whereas you have like an action movie, there's so many different things you can do to be action. Whether it's, you know, National Treasure-esque, it's Fast and the Furious, or, you know, it's just like Action Commando. There's lots of different things you can do with that element of it. But when it's horror, it's like, this is meant to scare you, and that's the only thing they're trying to do.
Right.
Yeah,
it gets more just jump scares,
formulaic just in its delivery, and there's only so many things you can do on camera to scare somebody. With you have your jump scares, you have your, you know, the noise and the things like
and
that.
People doing stupid stuff like going in a dark room, not turning the light on. I'll
be right back.
Yeah, right. You wait
You're
here.
dead.
I'm gonna go in this house by myself with all the lights off and try to attack Michael Myers on my own.
Rule of thumb: don't.
I like the kind of like the black comedy-ish one, or like the dark kind
scary movie.
No, like Tucker and Dale versus Zero.
Oh.
It's not a horror movie, but it's got so many funny but dark at the same time.
Yeah.
Make it good.
I've never laughed so hard at people dying than I did.
Me neither. Officer, we've had
seen that, Dee?
All these college kids are killing themselves.
Yeah.
They're all these college kids committing suicide in the front yard. Have you seen that movie,
jumped
Dee?
right into the wood chipper, head first, right into the wood chipper.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Have you seen that?
No, that is on my list. Like when it came out, I remember hearing things about it. But it's interesting. Like there are certain movies that came out during certain times where I didn't have the resources or the access to a lot of movies the way I do now. And so I remember like kind of hearing about it, but I didn't necessarily have the resources or the I didn't know how to basically access it at the time. Like this is before we got into like Netflix and a lot of the digital stuff.
So, you must watch that movie. It's funny. I laughed so hard my face hurt. And my jaw was hurt because it was just in my head was hurting too. Because
that's a good laugh.
You know, the whole chainsaw scene, that was like one of the funniest parts. I was laughing at the most. that was I'm going for you, D, but that scene alone, like I honestly, I think I was on the floor almost laughing so hard.
Is that the one where he's like running around with the chainsaw and the kids?
No, don't
spoil it. Don't spoil it for him. But
I gotta watch it now.
When I think it was the first death that happened, and it startled me so much, and I was just like, and so then I was with Teresa. And I rewound it. We watched it again, and I just started screaming with laughter. And it's just like you're not supposed to laugh, you know. But it is so funny that you can't help but laugh.
And it's just a good twist on the whole rednecks are trying to kill. It like flips script, and I think that's what makes it so good.
And what's his name?
Project.
Yeah. He's so funny in there.
Yeah,
they're both so good.
My favorite part was when they first go inside the cabin they bought and they're looking around, and you could tell that this is like a murderer's cabin, and they're like it just needs work. And then they're going around, and then there's this pin-up board with all these news articles, and it says something like serial the wood, 8 dead, college kids missing. I mean, all this kind of stuff. And then they're like, look at this, Dale. Look at this. And they're getting over and he goes, buy 2 chili dogs, get one expiration date. It's like, oh my God.
Do you know A2PB?
Yeah. Oh, he's joining. Okay. Yeah, I do. He's in my Discord. Yes, it's Tucker and Dale. Yes, and it's freaking hilarious. Freddie or Jason. Yeah, you got to do a review of it.
Is that a challenge?
Yes, a challenge. I haven't done a review, but I saw it so long ago. I saw it before I was even. I just feel like you might want to talk about it. I don't know.
I would love it. I'll definitely do that. I'll take you on that.
All right. I look forward to watching it. Hello, A2. I don't know what your name is. I'll just call you A. Can you hear us?
Hello, A.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. Thanks for joining us. Do you want to share some of your favorite horror movies?
It has been always VHS, if anyone have heard it.
Oh, VHS, yes.
VHS. Yeah. Oh.
They are
the reason being that, it was made in first person view, I think.
Yes.
And so I'm sorry for my voice if it is weird. I guess I just woke up a few minutes ago.
I know you're on the other side of the world, I think.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of the world. So it becomes a bit difficult to manage.
My phone's gonna die, and I got to go in the grocery store and grab like a bunch of diapers for tomorrow. So,
okay.
It was nice chat with all you guys.
Yes, thank you for showing up. That was a pleasant surprise. You'll have to do it again sometime. I don't know why. I'll just send you and Matt the link, and didn't figure you'd show up. There you are.
Easier to do it while I drive and just talk. So.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
All right, Tim. Love you.
There we go.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Nice to meet you.
You too.
I was wanting to get back to Ricardo's comment. He mentioned Silent Hill, the movie, which I have not seen.
No, you haven't seen either one of them.
Sin has seen them.
Yeah.
I do want to watch them though, because they sort of adapted it.
Okay. In answer to this, yes. And have you guys seen it? Have you seen it, A and D? Have you guys seen Sleep?
I only found out about it recently, unfortunately. That was one that got skipped over because, I'm familiar with Friday the 13th and all those, but there are certain horror films that I've missed that are like in that same kind of time period, and that's one of them.
Okay. Yeah, there's a twist at the end that I'm not going to give away because that kind of, if you go in knowing it, then you are prepared. So
okay.
Yeah. That's it's decent. It's decent in my opinion.
Yeah. See, I got to add all these films to my list now. I will absolutely watch them.
Okay, Colin's like, no, don't watch Sleepaway Camp.
Still haunts me.
Yeah, it's a little disturbing for sure.
Is it better than Friday the 13th?
Which one? The first one?
I guess in general.
I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm not super crazy about Friday the 13th. Well, I mean, they're both okay.
The thing with Friday
don't read anything about it. Don't read any spoilers, or it will completely.
Well, yeah. The thing with Friday the 13th is that I got spoiled by all of it because I've mentioned this before, but that time I got food poisoning and I was like laying down on the couch, and Corey was just watching like the lore documentary of Friday the 13th, and they just gave away everything, and I was I wasn't feeling good, so I just sat there and I consumed all of the spoilers. I know what happens in the first one. I know what happens in the second one. I know what happens in the third one.
It's probably more entertaining watching that than actually watching the movies themselves. That's later poop sauce. I forgot Tim logged in with that. What a weird. Okay,
it's like
so A was talking about some of his favorites. He talked about VHS.
Yeah.
Have you seen Wreck?
No, I don't think so. I've only seen limited horror movies because they are not easily available here, considering censorship and all of the stuff.
Okay.
But horror movies are difficult to watch. So you have to have the torrent magic. if you know what I mean.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do know what you mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, you got to watch it somehow.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta do this right.
But I also watched one movie. I don't remember its name, but I remember the premise of it. So there was this house in which an old lady was living, and there were a guy and a girl. So the ghost was only visible when you turn off the light.
Oh, Lights Out, right?
I guess so. Yeah. There was the ghost was somehow attached to the mother. And
Yes. Lights Out.
So yeah, it was a good one.
That was so good. I was surprised at how good that was. That was one of the movies that I did go to see an advanced screening of. One of those like show up and you have to wait in the line to get in.
Right.
And it was a full-length movie that was based on a short film.
Oh.
And I saw the short film. Yeah, and the short film is really creepy. It's real short, but it's the same sort of premise, but it's super short, obviously. And then, of course, they expanded into a movie, and it was. Have you seen it, D?
I have not, but I've seen like the poster. Like I know what film you're talking about, but another one for the list.
I think that's a really well done horror. It's not too long, and the creep factor was like he said. You turn off the light, and that's when the creature shows up. And
there was a shock value in the scenes. I mean, if you suddenly turn off the lights, and there it was.
Yeah,
you don't know when it will be there or not, but it just suddenly appears.
There was a scene where something happened.
The
car. Yes, exactly. I thought for sure. I thought for sure that character was gonna, because I thought this is what I thought. I thought it's gonna be your typical formula. This character, and I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it for D, but I thought this character's gonna die, Right. But the car scene happened, and when I was watching it in the theater, everybody started like laughing and clapping because it was so great. It's real quick, but it was awesome. It was so
unexpected.
So good. It was
unexpected thinking.
Yes, and I was so happy that it was like, oh wow, they're going in an unpredictable direction, and I thought it was very, very well done.
That's what I like with like new, like when we get new horror films, then you need to do something a bit more experimental instead of going to the generic side of things.
You got to do
like that's why I was saying horror games they kind of go into more of an experience. Like for example, Fatal Frame. The only way to fight ghosts is with a camera, a specific camera.
Oh,
you got to get close to the ghost.
He loves those games.
Yeah, like that's experimental.
Yeah.
Silent Hill is kind of that way too, where it's an abandoned town, and it does have to do with like some cults and stuff, but it's the aftermath where the town represents or reflects your subconscious, and that's what happened in the second game, which I like the second game a lot more because it was an interesting concept, So I wish horror movies would do more of that than go into like what I mentioned with the whole general.
Some of them do. It's just that most of them don't. So like April Fool's Day, I feel like April Fool's Day was one of those that it sort of followed the typical pattern, but there's this big twist at the end. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I never forgot it when I saw it because the twist, I was not expecting that at all. And I thought it was kind of funny. So also Malignant. Have you seen Malignant, either of you? D?
No, because we talked about it, and I told you that was a huge divisive one. And the reason, because we talked about it, you mentioned it at the end of our conversation. The only reason I can't watch it is because it has to come back on HBO Max because it went off on the 10th, I believe.
Oh dang!
No.
You were.
The last I checked, that was the expiration date. So I don't know if it's come back yet because I'll watch it whenever it does.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Dang it. Well, I love that movie. That was a movie that went places I wasn't expecting. It's another movie where it seems like it's gonna be all this and this, and there's some stuff about it. Like I did a non-spoiler review of it, like I mentioned, and but then when stuff is revealed at the end, it's like, oh, that explains so much. It was just I thought it was very well done.
Yeah, I think the guy that produced it
Yep.
Yeah, I think
I saw it years ago.
It's the same guy that did The Conjuring.
Back
he
in the
produced
80s.
both Lights
He
Out.
directed.
He directed Malignant. Okay, but he also produced
directed-
Lights Out. Did he
Yeah.
direct Lights Out?
James Wan.
Yeah.
I don't remember if he directed.
I thought he worked
it or
on
not.
it to some capacity.
I think he did, but I don't remember because he's had his hands in a lot of different horror things.
Yeah.
So I don't remember.
He seems to be pretty
Well,
good.
I highly recommend you. I'm getting in the mood to watch so many horror movies, but I mean, I'm always in the mood to watch horror movies.
Yep.
You would think I would get jaded on them, right? Because of how, we talked about the formula of horror and it's hard to do horror right, but there's just something about them. I don't know.
Like I'd rather play October. I'd rather play a lot of horror games too.
Well, because it's Halloween month.
Yeah, it's Halloween month.
Yeah, it's just really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is for sure. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up with.
Oh.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, D.
Oh no, you're good. I was gonna say another one because I didn't mention it earlier, but Misery is definitely a favorite of mine.
Oh yeah.
With Kathy Bates, and it was interesting because my introduction to Kathy Bates was in Titanic. She played Molly Brown, completely different character. Then end up seeing Misery, after the fact, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it was horrifying because when I was younger, kind of a little, I don't know, I think as I was younger and kind of getting older, understanding that, there are different roles that, of course, actors and actresses are going to play. But I had her in my mind as Molly Brown. So seeing her as this horrifying soccer fan.
She was horrifying.
Really, she was. And there are even little pieces, because for me, the thing that works about horror, like there can be like all these smaller pieces, because not only is the situation itself messed up, but being confined to this bed, being confined to a room, being trapped, you can't get out. And even the way they shoot certain scenes where he goes out and he's trying to get out of the house, but he can't. And then he realizes that he has to make it all the way back to his room, and they shoot it to where like it looks like the more he goes, the room is further away. Like they shot it in a very specific way, and he's trying to race back to the room before she gets back. And I know we've seen, aspects of that before, but it just really heightens the tension and the reality of who this woman is. And even finding out what she's actually done is even crazier, especially now that I'm an adult and really realizing this woman did that. Wow.
Yep. That was my first introduction to Kathy Bates, and then I saw Titanic. So, and she won an Academy Award for that role, I believe, and it was very well deserved because she was creepy.
Yeah.
Extremely.
Yes, I think Cat's Eye does count as horror. Oh, so another sort of similar-ish type of premise. So we've talked about things like Silver Bullet, where the kid, he's in a wheelchair, and The Bone Collector, that's not really horror, but Lincoln Rhymes, Denzel Washington's character was paralyzed from the neck down or something like that. So like people in situations where they can't really easily defend themselves, like in Rear Window, where he's in a wheelchair. There's another movie, I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's on Hulu, I think. It's called Run.
And with Sarah Paulson.
Yeah. Have you seen
it? I heard that literally is on my queue. Like that was like one of my next movies to watch, because I could be wrong, but I don't know what that is, but it's based on a real life situation. I can't remember
really?
Yeah, I can't remember what that woman's name is. But what it has to do, as far as, I don't want to spoil it, but just the concept of what Run is kind of dealing with, I think they're basing that on a real life thing that happened.
Oh wow.
Nice Colin.
That's creepy. That was a good film. I thought, and you feel this sense of desperation because it's the the premise. Then if you've got it on your to watch list, that the girl, she can't walk.
Right.
She's in a wheelchair and she's starting to be suspicious about her mother with good reason. Sarah Paulson can play creepy really, really well.
Yes, she can.
Yeah.
And it was funny. The first thing I ever saw her in was this random Jamie Foxx comedy with Nia Long where he gets like stuck at a gas station and then folks try to rob it. Like it's the craziest comedy movie. But I literally remember her. That was the first time I ever saw her. That was like in 2000.
What was it again? The movie again?
Held Up, excuse me. Held Up.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's with Jamie Foxx and Nia Long, and it's basically his character stopping at a gas station, and then people try to rob it, and this whole hostage situation takes place, and it's a really silly movie. But I mean, it's funny. But that was the first time I had ever seen her before, and so then seeing her on Nip Tuck, where she played a woman with the symptoms of stigmata. And then all the stuff she's done since then, like, yeah, it's been crazy seeing where her career has gone since then.
I think the first thing I ever saw her in was Deadwood.
Deadwood. Oh, the show, the series.
Yeah, the HBO series. And then she started showing up in American Horror Story.
Right.
And she was really good in that. I feel like she's found her niche, like with horror and creepy type characters and
absolutely
subject matter. In answer to your question, I feel like Firestarter is more thriller, though it might be classified as a horror to some people. I love the ending of that one as well. I really enjoy that movie. I read the book too. I think I like the movie more.
Cyn, I just realized what I was talking about because I couldn't remember the name. But if you've heard about Dee Dee Blanchard and her daughter Gypsy Rose and that situation, which they actually have a separate series based on that, but that was a real life situation that happened. And so Run is kind of, it's not literally like based off of it, but the concept of it is definitely inspired.
It was inspired by that. Okay. That name sounds familiar to me. The Gypsy Rose anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I have heard of that in passing. Yeah. I know, right, Jeff? He says Alec Baldwin's movie set is the new murder movie.
Oh, God.
That was horrible.
It's currently ranked number 3 out of the 4. Okay. Alec Baldwin. Oh, my gosh. Oh, no.
Okay, here we go. We're going on the Baldwin thing.
Okay. All right. So I want to see if A has any more horror movies to share with us. I know you say you haven't seen many of them, but if you've got any more.
I don't know if it will count as horror or not, maybe thriller, but there was this movie that I watched in which an old man lives in a house again, and so some teenagers, I think, trespass in his house, and if you say anything, he will kill you.
Don't breathe.
Don't breathe. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it counts as horror or not, but it was interesting.
Maybe to some people it would count as horror. I think when I went into it, I expected it to be like a horror because I knew what the premise was going to be. And in some ways it is kind of horrifying, like what you find out that guy's up to.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, either one of you, but I personally wasn't interested in the second one because they would look like they were making him out to be like a hero.
Oh yeah, good guy.
Good guy.
I did not know that there was a second one.
Yeah, there's a second one. I saw the trailer for it, and it just was like, it was really weird because
The movie ended very well.
Yeah,
there was no loose ends. There was no need for a second one.
Well, I don't. Have you seen it, Dee?
No.
Yeah. Okay. I've got to be careful about what I say then.
Oh no, you're fine. But that was another one that fell in that category. Like, my goodness, like looking back at those years, I'm like, when I didn't have a car and only had so much money, I couldn't go to I go to the theater, since the past few years and having a car and having, like AMC and the discounts and all that. Like, I'm always at the theater, but some of these movies like fell in the cracks and I had to be choosy about what I was going to see. But with the second Don't Breathe, it did confuse me because I was like, isn't this like the opposite of what the first one was about? At least from what I've seen. Yeah,
I feel like, and yes, in answer to your question, Joe, it is the blind guy. So in the second one is like his character seems completely different. So it just doesn't feel, number one, like A said, it feels like it was wrapped up well enough. We really didn't need a sequel. I don't know why they felt like they needed to return to him. Maybe because
money.
Yeah. Well, there's that too.
Say, money.
True.
Shocker.
But so I have no interest in it. It just doesn't the first one was effective, and why are you trying to change him and do someone that he's not? Like, you presented him as one way in this movie so effectively. Now you're trying to convince us that he's this other way now. No, it didn't work. No. Yes, I have seen The Burning.
There was one called Ash versus the Evil Dead as well. If anyone.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot completely about it, but I remember I enjoyed it.
Is that the series?
I think it was adapted from the movies.
Right.
And there was one. It was just stupid fun, but it was fun.
Is Bruce Campbell in that as well? Right.
I don't remember the name of the actors, to be honest.
I think is the series still going, or is it done now?
I think it's done.
Okay.
I think it was, well, for the audience, I think it was done by the second season, but I think they stretched it for a few more and then they finally closed it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes that's the problem with the series. Sometimes they go on a little longer than they really need to. So many times they just don't know when it's a good time to stop.
Like that's the thing. You kind of have to like have a conclusion, because I feel like it's more impactful that way instead of keep going, because if we keep going, it gets just repetitive over and over.
You need to be efficient with the storytelling and don't overstay your welcome, basically. I feel like, I guess it's your typical, 80s horror. If I love 80s horror, even the bad horror, I like 80s horror. So I don't know. It's just like, there's something about the way it was made. Yeah, definitely creepy. A good film. D, you got a lot of movies you need to be watching.
And that's the thing, because you would think going off of this conversation, like I had never watched any movies, even though I watch movies all the time. It's just that, I guess in this category, I got to catch up.
You gotta,
you
gotta get cracking on those movies.
Get with the program.
Yes.
So, okay, you guys have any more you wanted to bring up? There's so many I forget about, and then you guys mentioned something, or someone in the comments mentioned something. I'm like, oh yeah.
I will throw in really quickly. Let the Right One In.
Let the Right One In.
That's the remake.
No, Let Me In is the remake. That's the American remake. The original, the foreign film, the original one.
That one was called I get the titles mixed up.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah, Let the Right One In. That was the where was it, Swedish or?
Yeah, it was Swedish.
Okay, yeah.
Let the Right One In, and I don't even. You know what? It was one of those, like when Netflix was just starting, kind of like the whole streaming thing, and it was early on. I remember it popped up, and I was like, let me go check this out. And it was kind of early on in my, I guess. I've been into horror films for not horror films. I've been into foreign films for a while, but that was kind of like my newer experience with them and watching more of them. And so going into it, I didn't really know what it was about. And if you're not aware, of course, it does deal with the vampire mythology, but underneath that, it is dealing, depending on how you choose to see it, it is dealing with friendship or romance, and kind of some really dark aspects of that. And it really shocked me. And I don't know, there's just a lot in there that really, I don't know, I thought it was a really refreshing take on what I had already seen as far as the vampire, the take on vampires and things like that. And I just thought the way that they told that story, the fact that they weren't afraid to really go there and get graphic when it needed to be. There's literally a scene where I'll just say that we see something underwater, and we see in the background certain things dropping in the water.
Yes, that scene. I know exactly what you're referring to, but also it's definitely different. Like you said, the dark elements, bullying, troubled childhood, the poor kid, and he finds a friend in this other person, and their journey together is interesting. I watched it, and then I think I did see the remake, the American version.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, and I might be misremembering, I thought it was pretty faithful to the original.
Yeah.
That's just what okay, so yeah, so it was.
Definitely compared to, like, not unlike, because I know a lot of them, oh my gosh, like The Grudge. Like, are there, I mean, The Grudge, I mean, you can take The Grudge for what it is. I'm not mad at it. But I'm just saying, like, there are some where it's like, hey, let's take this great foreign horror concept and let's Americanize it, and let's just take all the things that were great about it, completely out of it. And I feel like Let Me In was one of the rare films that felt like it was almost paying homage or, tribute to the original and trying to really keep with what made it great. I feel like you could watch either one and, still like get the sense of what it's talking about.
Yeah, I think so too. I guess if you're just not a fan of subs,
right?
A lot of people aren't. I mean, if I had to choose, I would, but obviously, so many times the original is so much better. That's why, like, I was talking about The Guilty with Jake Gyllenhaal,
right.
And that's to me an inferior product compared to the original. But sometimes they're equally as good, and sometimes a remake might be a little better. I guess it all depends on the film. But we did talk about Joyride. That was brought up. I had completely forgotten about that movie. I've seen it once, a long time ago. Oh, sorry, Arturo. I was popping it up. Yeah, I saw parts of Battle Royale, but I don't think have you seen it? Okay.
My friends and I watched it in college, and when Hunger Games came out, because I didn't know anything about the Hunger Games as far as the book series, but I remember, I don't know, I was with one of my friends or something like that, and they were like, "Is that based?" I was like, "Is that based on Battle Royale?" They're like, yeah.
I guess maybe it was. I didn't find out about Battle Royale until after the Hunger Games. So.
Yeah, but to be honest, most foreign countries like share pop culture stuff.
Creature
together.
in the box. Box was found under. What is this? Hold on. They're talking about something. Creature in the box was a man-eater. Box was found under the stairs of a university. Is that the? I don't know what that's about. Oh, D popped off. He must have lost his internet. Maybe he'll be back. So, okay. Did you have any more you wanted to share with us, A?
Not that I can think of. I mean, I'm not into watching movies too much.
No.
No, the problem is that it's difficult to get access to.
Yeah.
I mean, good movies in my place, the streaming services are not that great. So if you want to have good movies, you have to invest time in other venues, if I may say so.
Yeah.
And but like, for example, Hobbit was not available.
Hobbit?
Really? Yeah, for a while. Yeah. And Hobbit is a lot popular than horror movies. Exactly. And Terminators are not available. What else? What good movies?
What a shame.
Man, you guys are missing a lot of good movies.
For a lot while Marvel movies were not available to stream. They were available in cinemas and stuff, but for stream it was difficult. I mean, for a while I had to watch. To catch up on Marvel movies, I had to use torrent, but then I started watching it on cinemas. Now it's available. Now things are getting better.
Well, that's good.
But 80s, 90s horror movies, 80s and 90s movies. I mean, IMDb top 100, most of it is available now. But it gets very difficult to. I mean, if you don't get any suggestions, how would you know which one is the good one?
Right. Yeah.
And there are then the set of movies available is very low. I mean, it's
what
like
streaming? What streaming?
Prime videos I have Hotstar, and it's Indian version of Disney Plus.
Oh, okay. I hadn't heard of that, so I didn't know what it was. Okay.
And I tried Hulu, but it requires a VPN, so it gets again into that whole mess. So these are the two good ones, Hotstar and Prime Videos. We have Netflix as well, but it's just, I don't know.
I was going to ask. Oh, really?
Yeah, I watched a few shows and few movies, and it's like, man, let me guess what political things you are thinking.
Yeah,
Don't shove it down my throat.
right, yeah. A
Let me
lot of
figure it out for myself.
right,
So
yeah.
it became boring after a while, so I just gave up on it.
Okay, I'm trying to think of other. There's like there's so many different streaming services, and not all of them are available in all countries. So, but yeah, primarily for me, Netflix, Prime. I do have Hulu, have access to HBO. My brother shares his HBO with me, and then I have things like Shudder. Also, are you a Shudder subscriber, D?
No, but one of my good subscriber friends, or I mean, well, just good YouTube friends in general, Geeky Hijinks Joe. He has like a I don't know if he has like an actual sponsorship or whatever with Shudder, but basically he gets access to like all of Shudder's stuff, and he gets to like review his stuff ahead of time.
Oh my gosh!
So he's like put me on to a lot of their content and things like that. So I'm gonna have to check Shudder out.
I held off. Okay, so what you can do with Shudder is they have a free TV. I'm not sure who you're referring to, Arnon. If you're referring to, I don't know.
Wait, what?
Okay, I think he's referring to A. I don't know specifically the country where I don't know if he wants to share it, but I just guess somewhere over there in the east.
Yeah, it's all right. My country is India.
India. Okay. All right. So, yeah.
Don't ask any further though.
So what?
Don't ask where in India though.
I will not. I promise. I promise you. I will not.
Now.
I will not ask you. I know it's the internet, and I know people.
Yeah,
like to be
there are
careful,
creeps
so
out there.
I do this. I do the same thing. But so about Shudder, if you can use the app, like I don't know if you like I use Roku, and they have for free 3 movies streaming at a time, like slasher movies, psychological horror, and I can't remember what the other one is. Right now, one of those channels is only showing like a jack-o'-lantern because it's Halloween. So it's like that's just a jack-o'-lantern. But if you want to kind of get a sample of some of the stuff they have, you could watch some of their free streaming movies if you go to Shudder. Use the app or maybe go to the site and somewhere there, maybe it's like called Shudder TV. And I did that for a while until I finally just caved and went ahead and got the subscription. And I'm glad I did. They have some pretty decent content on there. Plus they have originals. You know, like how Netflix has their original stuff. Shudder also produces their own original stuff. Plus, I don't know if you've ever heard of Joe Bob Briggs. He's like a movie critic reviewer type, and he's got this series on there, just Joe Bob Briggs, The Last Drive-In, and he will have these movie marathons, and he intersperses, like during pauses in the movies, he'll talk about different trivia related things. It's really, really interesting, and he's funny too, just the way he presents his information. So it's cool. Let's see. Hold on.
Would this be
Hollywood
considered a horror movie?
I think so. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Slither? Have you seen
Is
it,
it
D?
before 2000?
No. I think it's after 2000. Archer, what year does it say on there?
It says copyright 2006.
Okay, yeah.
Then no.
It's actually kind of comedic. It's horror, but it's also kind of comedic. It's worth a watch, I think. Oh, I think it's worth it. Oh my goodness, Shaun of the Dead. That movie is so freaking hilarious. That's a fun film.
I didn't get to see Slither because initially I was somewhat interested in seeing it, and then someone told me it was like a comedy, and it threw me off. And then someone ruined, well, not ruined, but I'm saying like they turned me off of wanting to go see it because they made a reference to something that happens in the bathtub. I was like, I don't think I can sit through that.
Oh. Well, I mean, it's horror, but it's comedy too.
Right.
So obviously that kind of takes the fear factor away a bit, right? Because it's got comedy, but it was fun. I think Michael Rooker was in that, and I like Michael Rooker and Nathan Fillion as well.
Oh,
he was he's pretty funny in there. It's about worms. Worms.
And with the bathtub thing, I was just disturbed by and I'm assuming this is what happens, but I was disturbed by just the grossness of what they said possibly may have happened in the bathtub.
I honestly don't remember what happened in the bathtub. I know that's the picture on the cover, but it's been years since I've seen it. I couldn't tell you.
And that actually makes me think of a film called Teeth.
Oh yeah, someone mentioned that earlier.
Did they? Oh my! Ooh. You talk about horrifying.
Yeah, I know, right?
And it's bizarre because it almost has this like slight dark comedic edge to it, but then it's just this really terrible thing that's happening. Yeah.
Yeah. No bathtubs, The Shape of Water. Oh, geez. I did not. Okay, I like Guillermo del Toro. I did not like The Shape of Water. I don't know about you.
It's interesting. Like I enjoy Guillermo del Toro's like aesthetics. Like I enjoy how he creates the world in which his characters and like the story and all that is set in. So it's like I enjoyed. It's hard to explain. Like I enjoyed like the experience of like the way it was set up and the way like it was created. Getting into aspects of the relationship and all that, it just was. I really didn't know how to feel about it. Like I didn't despise it, but walking away from it, I was just like, okay.
Well, it was a little disturbing to me,
right?
Because I mean, I feel like it's basically like bestiality.
Oh gosh!
So that was just what it was like. Okay, I can't. I no. This is not working for me.
I didn't know if you were gonna say it, but yeah, and then
yeah, that's not a word you say.
Yeah,
that's what
in that reference.
And they went so far as to say like this is how it goes, and then this opens. I was like, oh my gosh, details. Why?
Yeah, it didn't sit well with me. Like you said, the world and the aesthetics and everything involved in it. That was cool because he's a really good filmmaker, but the whole premise itself was just too far out there for me. And it got all this acclaim and awards, and I'm like, what? I feel like I'm in an episode. I feel like I'm in the Emperor Has No Clothes story.
Right.
You know, that's like everyone's oohing and ahhing over this, and I'm like, that's just gross. What's wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
No.
I felt the same way about La La Land though.
Really? See, I never saw that because it just didn't. It didn't interest me at all.
Yeah, no, but with The Shape of Water, I was very confused as to what I was supposed to walk away from that film with, and I still to this day am kind of unclear on what I was supposed to get out of it.
I didn't get anything out of it except just feeling icky.
Right, and they could have easily have told that story without that piece. It could have been having affection, or having sympathy or whatever for this being who's trapped in it. Like you can still tell the story, but it's like they wanted to go for the shock factor. Like, guess what? There's sex too, and I'm like, no.
I know. It's no, couldn't do that. It's Zombieland, Arnon.
Yeah, that's funny.
Remember the entity? No, I don't.
I love Barbara Hershey though. I have to watch it.
The entity. It sounds familiar, but I don't think I have seen that. Haven't seen that either. Good night. So many films. I like Shape of Water. It was like a dark fairy tale. Yeah, kind of like Pan's Labyrinth. Felt that way as well. But I like Pan's Labyrinth more
You know, even
because
old,
they didn't get
even-
into too much weird territory with.
well, even old folks, when it was in movie theaters, like
Yeah.
the first year I started, even the old folks liked Shape of Water.
The Shape of Water, really?
Yeah,
That's probably maybe because the era that it took place in. Maybe
Like
they
the
liked
60s
the
or-
time period.
yeah.
Yeah. Was Megyn Kelly as Pie Guy? Morgan Kelly as Pie Guy? I don't remember that character.
Oh, actually, I think I might remember that if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't recall who that is. Okay. Well, geez, y'all, we've gone on more than 3 hours doing this, and I've got
Yeah.
all these names of movies I've written down on an old envelope. So I unfortunately have to go tend to my dog Scooter. He needs some medicine. And my poor little sick rat Popo needs to go back in her cage. So probably going to have to draw this to a close for now.
No
but this was a lot of fun. I'm so glad
Yeah.
you guys could join us.
Interesting
It was
too.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
I had
you.
a good time. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad I was able to drop in from the car.
Yeah, that was great. I didn't know you. Like I said, I just didn't think about. I don't know. Just like, it's too last minute. He's not going to be able to. And so then you show up in the chat, and I'm like, you want to come join us?
Right.
So,
Time to go
Yeah.
get chased by an alien. This-
have fun getting chased, Colin, by an alien. I'm going to see if I can commandeer the TV away from my husband so I can watch Silver Bullet or something. I feel like I want to watch.
I think I
horror
need to
movie.
actually pre-order Fatal Frame, the 5th game,
Oh yeah, I know you love your Fatal Frame.
because
Yep.
isn't it
here,
original? Well, it was.
Seems pretty original. What were you gonna say, Dee?
Oh no! And to the person who talked about Pie Guy, if you look him up, I'm familiar with the actor, so I actually thought that was a good piece of the story. But you'll recognize him, I think, if you look him up.
Okay. Yeah, I don't
that
remember that character at all, but it's been a few years since I saw it. And
Same.
I guess I kind of maybe, I held on to that one aspect of it that I was like, ugh, and then
Right.
probably just kind of forgot all the
Everything
rest.
else. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was great too. It was really exciting. I mean, I could go on and on if I didn't have
We actually do
constraints
need to.
offline that I had to take care of. I could just continue and just continue. So this was a ton of fun, you guys. And
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be this active and exciting and
I know
fun,
we're going to
so
be doing the last
thanks,
90s
everyone.
discussion on
Yeah,
the
99.
8th of November. Last year of the 90s.
Yeah, I gotta let them know that. I forgot we
Uh,
settled on a
In
date.
that scenario, I'll be next to useless, I guess.
That's okay. maybe you can join us in the chats and learn about some movies
That would be fine.
from the 90s. So
There's a lot
Okay.
of good ones in the 90s.
And I had to
Yeah.
catch up on Terminator first.
dude,
I had to catch
Oh
up
no!
on Terminator.
Oh no!
you must Terminator and Terminator 2. The Terminator and Terminator. You haven't seen any of them? None?
No, unfortunately, no.
Oh, you poor
Uh
thing.
oh.
I mean, look, I even wore a Terminator shirt.
I finally was able to catch up on Star Wars and Star Trek.
Okay.
That was difficult to find.
Oh, really? That's crazy, too.
Yeah.
Well, Terminator's pretty violent. It's pretty violent. Both of them are, but so good.
Is it as violent as John Wick? I've seen John Wick.
John Wick is ridiculously violent. Like John Wick is violent to the point that it's hilarious to me. Like
then
you
I
know what
don't
I
think
mean,
that-
Dee?
I don't-
Like it's
I don't think
crossed
Terminator
into that
will be-
territory. It's just it's crossed into like ridiculous territory. I mean, the book in the library. Have you seen it, Dee?
Yes.
I mean, it's like how many creative ways. It almost reminds me of the hilarity of all the different crazy ways Michael Myers was killing people.
Pretty
It's
much.
like
Well,
it
wait
just,
until you see the review, the 41-minute review of mine.
oh, here we go. Yeah, we need an A2PV stream now.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay, all right. I know. I always say I gotta go, and then I keep.
Yeah,
Chatting.
well,
Oh, my friends are like that too. I understand.
Well, thanks
Yeah.
everyone for
Vortex
joining this. Yeah, it was kind of a short notice, but hey, we're
I
almost close
know.
to Halloween, so I was like, hey, why
Wanted
not
to-
we just talk about some of our favorite horror movies? Because there's a lot.
Yeah, I like these sort of themed discussions like
Yeah.
this. You could just, there's so much to talk about. So,
Mm-hmm.
well, hopefully
Absolutely.
you can watch Terminator at some point, A. And D, you got a lot of movies to check out too.
Yes, I do.
So I am looking forward to hearing what you think about all of those.
Yeah.
Will do.
All right. Well, I'm going to hit end broadcast and
Oh,
we'll
you're
see
gonna
you guys
do it
later.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it. Bye.